We're live with Unbreakable. I'm Chris Chamsiros. This is Unbreakable. Thanks for joining me live. Today, Andrew Tate went on the Patrick Bet David podcast. There's this big scandal going on because Andrew Tate decided to go to a nightclub with Clavicular, with Myron Gaines, with Sneeko, with Nick Fuentes. And then there was a song played inside this Miami nightclub, a Nazi song, whatever. And this is why Andrew Tate is just so full of shit. They're all full of shit. See, the new wave is America first. So they're all trying to get on that wave. I remember, you see, the problem with Andrew Tate is he thinks nobody watches his content, or he doesn't understand that once you make something and say something online, that it's there forever. And if you have a brain, a critical thinker, you could put together all the videos that he's ever made and you could tell exactly what he's about. Just, the whole thing with the pimping and being a pimp, he out of his own mouth, he taught a class how to be a pimp, how to manipulate women, how to do, and then he turned, I didn't do anything, I'm not a pimp. I guess that none of those videos counted, but let me guess, I'm taking them out of context. So getting back to what I was saying, you know, I remember Andrew Tate, Justin Waller, when they were doing their whole alpha male, high value man bullshit. Anybody that talks about politics is a brokey. If you talk about politics, you're a brokey. You're only talking about politics because you got no money, according to Tate and the other blowjob Justin Waller. Even Tristan was on that wave for a while. But the new wave is Nick Fuentes. He's like Silver Surfer right now. He's blowing up through the airwaves. And that clavicular kid, I'm not listen, he's 19 years old. I'm not even gonna go there. But Nick Fuentes and Clavicular are the wave right now. So what does Andrew Tate, Justin Waller, what do they all want to do? They all want to be with them streaming in a club because, Andrew and Tristan, they're trying to redo their image and they always want to stay relevant. And the problem is with the Tates and Justin Waller and all these clowns is this: when you operate in lies, when you operate in manipulation, it never goes away. And you see, like when you always operate in the truth, it might take time to build your platform. It might take a lot of time, but you don't have to catch anybody else's wave, right? You don't ever have to catch another wave because the entire time you've been telling the truth. So you're just on one smooth wave. And this is what they have to do. They got to keep reinventing themselves. Now now Andrew Tate, he's Mr. Politics. And all you heard today from Patrick Bet David and the clown Adam Sosnick has to be Patrick Bet David's handler because his voice is unbearable. His thoughts are unbearable. He's just uneffing bearable all the time. He's just unbearable. And the big word today was, you're a leader, Tate. Tate, you're a leader and you talk so good. A leader of what? There's nothing worse on a planet than a pimp. A pimp is the lowest life form on earth. They're scum under my shoe. They are total shit. And even in the criminal world, see, like, look, a bank robber, a drug dealer, whatever, at least they're man enough to go out and get their own money. You might not like the way they get it, but at least they got the balls to go do it themselves. A pimp manipulates underage girls and teenage girls, and he said he's a pimp. Whether it's digital or putting them in the streets, he manipulates them and then he takes all the money. And Tristan Tate, he's got like 4 baby mamas that he puts on webcam and then keeps all the money. And then Patrick Bet David, he sits there and he's Mr. Christian and he's Mr. Businessman, he's Mr. Upright, and he wants to promote Tate of all people as a fucking leader. And it's just a total joke. Leader of what? Leader of bullshit, con artists, scam artists, pimps? Because that's the only thing he could lead. And he's a good talker. Yeah, they used to say the same thing about Hussein Obama. But if you had this much of a brain in your head and you did any research on Hussein Obama, you would have known that he's an anti-American, racist roach who didn't deserve your vote. But that's all you ever heard when he was he's a good speaker. It's the same thing with Tate. He's a good speaker. No, he's a con man. He's a bullshit artist. And now I'm American. I'm American. On the video, you'll see it in a minute. I'm American now. I love America. No, he's just trying to catch Nick Fuentes' wave. I've been on the wave. I don't have to get on other waves. I'm America first all along. But Nick, obviously I'm not famous. No, people don't know me the way they know Nick. So now the Tates are trying to jump on the America first wave. just like a lot of them, Megyn Kelly and all the rest of the clown show. But people that are really paying attention, that are really intelligent, they see right through the garbage. You know, Tate, in his own words, Andrew Tate, in his own words, he said that he moved to Romania because they were less likely to prosecute for sexual assault or human trafficking. He's in Romania for a reason. He's in Romania for one good reason, so he could pull his shenanigans and then sit back and be like, I don't do anything. I'm home all day on my computer, computer, gym. Yeah, okay, sure. See, Andrew, did you think that we didn't watch when you went on the Nelk Boys podcast and you were bragging about how you stole thousands, that you bankrupted so many men, that you took the computer and you were pretending to be the girl as you drained lonely men dry? Isn't Andrew Tate the big men, you need to do this to be a man, and you need, work on yourself to get a real woman, and you shouldn't drink, you shouldn't smoke, you shouldn't gamble, you shouldn't do any of that. But meanwhile, he sells you all the vices because he's a bullshit artist. It just, and like when you sit to Patrick Bet David and he sits there and they just glaze him the whole time. You're a great speaker, you're a leader. It's just a fucking complete joke. Did you think we didn't watch the Nelk Boys podcast and see you bragging about what you did to all these men? As you were just laughing, I took one guy for 200. I'm ruthless. I got ice in my veins. I take him for every dollar. That was his exact words. So he criticizes anybody that has vices, and then he sells you the vice. That's what Andrew Tate does. All right, let me jump into the video with this clown, Patrick Bet David, Adam Sosnick, and Andrew Tate.
Am I looking here? Okay, fantastic. Folks, this was a last-minute announcement, but there was some extracurricular activities going on in Miami, some songs being played.
Oh, I forgot to say, the reason why Andrew Tate is coming on the show, he probably called Adam Sosnick, because he has all the connections in Miami, he claims. And I know that Adam is definitely bringing checks to Patrick Bet David or his handler. And he knows he just signed this big gambling contract. Mr. I'm a Muslim and, that's haram. Everything is haram, but except for when I'm prostituting girls out or, selling you gambling websites or any of the other bullshit that that Andrew Tate is into. He had casinos in Romania. And then when the players won, he would have people beat them up and rob them. He's a drug dealer in his own words, but it's all haram, right, Andrew? So Andrew Tate, he's flipping. He's freaking out now because he just got some money or signed a contract with a gambling site. So he's trying to distance himself from this entire thing because he doesn't want to lose that stream of money coming in. That's what's really going on here. He's distancing himself because he doesn't want to lose his endorsements.
Some text messages, phones blowing up. And
I didn't hear what happened.
Yeah, so there was this group of guys that were hanging out playing.
Oh, God made me when I had to fight. God, he winded me. God made me tired. How about the cigars, cigarettes, and all the other garbage that you do? Maybe that made you tired. I mean, along with you probably didn't train for the fight. But hey, it's God. God wanted me winded so I could spend an extra day with Tristan. That's why I got beat to a pulp. Oh, it's just that he's younger than me.
The song in a city, Miami, where most of the clubs are owned by this community that the song was bashing, that, by Kanye West, and then everybody reacted. As a matter of fact, why don't we do this, Tate, to just kick it off?
Sure.
Good to have you back on here.
I'm glad to be back with the guys.
This looks like the cigar lounge from Madrid.
Yes, it does.
It's not. Let's pick a city we're in right now. We're right now in... we're in Barcelona right now.
Nice.
Okay? Barcelona, Florida. Somewhere in Barcelona, Florida is where we are right now doing this podcast.
Big difference between Miami and Fort Lauderdale, Vinny, right?
100%.
Okay, so why don't we do this, though?
Okay, he's always like taking shots at. I can't wait till Vinny just beats the shit out of him. I really can't. I can't stand Adam. I can't stand him in the work. He's just a weasel of work. He thinks he's so cool too. He's just a piece of garbage. Just kick his ass already, Vinny.
On a serious note, so let's play this clip, Rob, and then Tate will just...
Vinny, if you kick his ass, I'll pay your fines. I promise you. You got my word.
Start off with this clip, what the news is saying. And we'll come
it's on the news?
it's all over the place.
You made the fucking news?
You made the news. Channel 7 Miami. So, Rob, if you want to play this clip, go for it.
People laughing and celebrating Heil Hitler and Adolf Hitler. I cannot believe we're even seeing this and witnessing in Miami Beach.
A Miami Beach nightclub catching heat, accused of celebrating hate with a song about Hitler.
Absolute disgust.
Disgusted, horrified.
City leaders reacting to videos making the rounds on social media featuring the Kanye West song with the lyrics Heil Hitler over and over again.
You know what's crazy about this? Kanye West wrote the song, and they're mad that people are listening to it. I mean, I know they were mad at Kanye for a while, but it's just like, oh, is anybody mad at the ADL when they try to get Christ and Christmas out of everything? Is anybody mad? Is anybody outraged what the ADL does? I'm just curious. And not that I want to listen to this garbage song. I'm not into Kanye's music, but whatever.
The same men seen in the club, known as controversial influencers, are also in a video from a limo. In that one, they're singing, and one of them is performing a Nazi salute.
Have people in our city celebrating this. Animals.
This is obviously not welcome in Miami Beach. It should not be welcome anywhere in the world.
And by the way, I spoke to other club operators. They are not welcome in their club. How they got into this club, open arms, I want to know how.
The video.
You know what? You know what? One thing that doesn't get brought up. Myron said this himself. Myron said this. For all you don't know, Myron Gaines. I mean, he's black or African. I mean, he's black, but Myron Gaines has a Jewish manager, and he's Muslim. And he says that he intentionally has that manager so he could say and do the things whatever he wants with no consequences. So remember that. Remember when you're criticizing Myron. And remember when you're criticizing this whole thing that's going on, and everybody's so outraged on what's going on with this song. Myron Gaines himself, he came, I forget the manager's name. He's like, I intentionally have this Jewish manager who, so when I say the things that I say that are controversial, my channel doesn't get closed down, or I don't get any strikes, and I can continue to say the things that I want. So he has a Jewish manager that makes all of this okay. But hey, let's not talk about that, right?
Videos are from Saturday night. This one inside the Club Vendome at 743 Washington Avenue. The club releasing a statement on social media that reads in part, "We want to be unequivocally clear. Vendome and our hospitality group do not condone anti-Semitism, hate speech, or prejudice of any kind." It goes on to state, "We are deeply disturbed by the harm caused by this incident and the circulation of this footage." The post explains the business is looking into safeguards and procedures to make sure this doesn't happen again. As for the men,
safeguards and procedures as they play trap music, talking about switches and, rob the white boy. And it's just like, yeah, every group is allowed to be criticized. Obviously, I'm not going to listen to this song. I mean, I think it's totally stupid what they did. They're trying to get a reaction. If you ask me, I feel this whole thing is set up on intentionally to take your attention off other things going on in the world. Whether it's Trump, what he's doing to Venezuela, the whole thing with Erica Kirk. I believe that this is a distraction, that you had all the top streamers and YouTubers together to do something outrageous like this to distract you from all the other stuff that's going on. I really believe that.
in the video celebrating the song, the mayor has...
You can pause it at this time.
I barely even see me in any of this.
Yeah.
Firstly.
I didn't do anything. I never do anything. Everybody's just picking on me. The Matrix. All yeah. I mean, I make video after video bragging of being a pimp, but I'd never do anything. Okay, Andrew.
I want to be very careful here because I don't want to deflect too heavily.
Oh, here
I
we
don't want to
go.
be blaming other people, etc.
And you know what? He wanted to be in that club with them. No, he's so full of shit. He wanted to be in that club with Clavicular and Nick Fuentes because right now they're hot. They got the biggest wave to ride. So if he's with them, like Justin Waller, oh, come on, Clav. Clav, do you wear suits? I'm going to send a tailor right over it to get you 2 or 3 suits. Waller is the ultimate blowjob.
A whole bunch of songs were played that night, none of which I requested. None. I walk into a nightclub and songs are played. Unfortunately, if anything happens
I was so happy to see him get punched in his face. It just brought me so much joy.
anywhere near me, it gets tied to my name. If someone got shot in that club, they would have said, Andrew Tate's in a nightclub where this man got shot.
Oh, yeah, Andrew, your importance. If somebody got shot in a nightclub, automatically they would have said, like, his delusional thoughts of his importance to the world is just like, oh my God. And he also claims to be a billionaire now. So the 40-year-old man that just fought, got knocked out, is a billionaire, but he needed that fight for the couple millions that he got so he could pay off some of his debts or his taxes or whatever, right? But he's a billionaire. No 40-year-old man is fighting if they're a billionaire for $1 million. Nobody, not one. It's just nothing but bullshit.
Oh, I didn't shoot him. I didn't pull the trigger. I don't know who the fuck he is. I was there and the song was played. The actual conversation I think that's interesting to have when it comes to this is the nature of the internet and the nature of influencing in general. Because I think we're living in a world now where only shock value seems to get anybody's attention for any significant period of time because
Really? You're hanging out with the people that you claim are all about shock value, but why, Andrew? Because you want to be part of that wave too.
everyone's dopamine receptors are completely fried. So all of these young influencers or anyone on the internet who's trying to make any name for themselves is trying to be as controversial and shocking as possible as quickly as possible. And that's why the song was played, because it gets views. That's why. I didn't play it. I didn't ask them to play it. I didn't dance. I didn't sing. In fact, the only time you see me on there is me storming out of the bus saying this is ridiculous and leaving. But I know why it was played. It was played because of this.
No, you stormed out of the bus because you're like, I just got a new gambling website that I signed money for. Now it's going to be canceled and dropped. Oh, so I'm bald again. I might have to get a job.
It was played because it gets traction in a world where everybody is bored of everything all of the time. And that's why these young people are encouraged constantly to try and do the most shocking thing possible. You see this not just with this song. You see this on all their streams. They're running people over and doing retarded shit constantly.
When he says they're running people over, he's talking about clavicular because some kid jumped on the hood and he kept going, which he was right, by the way. I mean, if you're going to jump on the hood of my car, I'm going to keep driving too. I'm not going to get out and argue with you. Okay, fine. You'll just be roadkill. But it's funny because he's criticizing and he's talking shit, but then he wants to be seen with them on stream. Go figure, Andrew.
So I'm not here to make excuses for myself. I'm not here to say it wasn't me. I'm not here to, blame someone else. But it is kind of ridiculous. It does feel a bit unfair that I'm standing in a nightclub. A song comes on that I did not request. A song comes on that I do not dance to. I do not repeat the lyrics to. I just stand there. And then they want to attribute somehow the song playing to me and it all being my fault.
That's a fair argument, but I'll to the average person that's watching it, back in the days when I'm younger, I'm in a car with a guy who...
Hold on. So Andrew Tate wants you to believe if anybody associates with Nick Fuentes, they automatically get called an anti-Semite. I'm not saying it's right, but that's the narrative. The same thing with Myron. But Andrew, and the same thing with Sneaka. But Andrew wants you to believe that he doesn't know that. Like, I know that. I know if I went and sat down and I had dinner with Nick Fuentes, I'm sure on the next day on the cover of the Daily News, they'd be like, two anti-Semites sitting down eating. Everybody knows that's what you'll be called. But Andrew wants you to believe that he doesn't understand that. Okay.
I get out of the military. It's December 23rd, 97. The guy's got a bunch of pot in the back of his trunk. Cops come out.
Yep.
And I'm in the Army, and my guy's calling me, telling me, hey, you got to figure something out. You can't be involved in something like this.
Yep.
So guilty by association, it's the first thing they're going to say. You hung out with these guys. When I watched the video, Andrew,
Look at Andrew's face. He didn't like hearing that because for once in his life, somebody's telling him to take responsibility for his actions.
You and them, Tristan looks extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay? And the way you were smiling, because I saw a lot of, everyone's texting me. You and I communicate. We have conversations together. You looked extremely uncomfortable as well. You're smiling, but you're not, you know already what's going to happen. It was almost a look where I said, Tate knows what's about to happen next.
Yeah, the shock value really isn't worth it to me. I mean, I've said some shocking things and people will believe my brand is built on shock value, but I think they're at least shocking opinions. I like to think that I'm sitting there saying, this is my opinion. You may find it shocking, but this is what I truly believe. These are my worldviews. And perhaps there's a lot of people who agree with me, disagree with me, but to just shock and offend purely for the purpose of shocking and offending, I think that that's something that has plagued the internet for a while, but it's getting worse and worse. And you notice it across the entire streaming world because people are struggling to get any kind of views or shake people out of apathy. And when I talk to anybody below 25 who's doing anything on the internet, their only intention is to be as shocking and therefore as offensive as possible. That's what they're sitting there thinking. How do I get everybody to panic within 3 seconds? Otherwise, they're going to scroll past me. And that's what people are doing. That's the world we live in.
Why hang out with them?
Well, I haven't seen them in a long time.
Yeah, you're in a club with 19-year-old clavicular. I mean, Nick's a little older. He's 30 years old, but you all know what Myron. I mean, they admit to Nick. Not Nick is the only person there. Well, Myron is very intelligent compared to the rest of those guys, but he likes to do some crazy stuff sometimes that like takes away from that intelligence. Not that I think it should, but that's the way the world is. You know, everybody thinks that Nick is a troll and all this other garbage, but here's the problem I got with that. Nobody will ever sit down. The so-called smartest human beings on the planet will not sit down and have a debate with Nick Fuentes about policy between Israel and America. And you know why? Because he would absolutely destroy them. And he never, you know what? It's whatever.
It's the first time I met two of them. It's the first time I met Clav and Nick. I spoke to them online, but it's the first time I ever met them. I hadn't seen Sneeko in a while.
You and Nick have never met each other?
Never met.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
He's still not answering the question. Then why hang out with them, Andrew? If you're so above it all, Andrew, you know, if you'd never do anything, you're innocent little baby. Why do you hang out with them?
Never met.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the Braden guy, Clav, whatever his name is, he's new.
First time I ever met them.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest, they were nice guys when I met them. You know, it's the first time I've spoken to them. I sat down with them, and I don't think they even put the song on. I have to guess. I think Sneeko may have put the song on, who I'd met many times before. But it was a long night. It was 6 or 7 hours in which, for 2 minutes of it, someone got a phone and put a song on. It wasn't me. And now it's all over the news. So I just think that the main reason this is being done is because shock value is what people are optimizing for with their content primarily. And then we can have another conversation entirely about why anti-Semitism is on the rise in the first place, because I have a theory about that also. And I think that the main reason anti-Semitism is on the rise across America, because there's no doubt about it that it is because young men are being told that Jews control the system. And
well, wait, what's your definition of that? Because now the definition of anti-Semitism is anybody that doesn't agree that America should be giving Israel, a country the size of New Jersey, $45 million a day, or letting them use our military. So now that's the definition of anti-Semitism. Automatically, if you say that, if you don't agree with that, that means you hate Jewish people. It's ridiculous.
young men are being screwed by the system. It doesn't mean it's true. I'm not going to sit here and say that Jews completely and utterly control the system. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you tell young men that, and they believe that, even if it's not true, and they're getting screwed by the system.
Look at Adam the Weasel's face. He's ready to melt down.
That's why people are anti-Semitic. There was no anti-Semitism when a man could afford a house. And there was no anti-Semitism when a man could get a wife. And there's no anti-Semitism when he looked around and felt part of his community. But people are so disenfranchised now with the places they're living in and the society they're forced to live within, and they feel so disconnected from everything, they've become revolutionary. Young men of the world are revolutionary. They're looking for somebody to blame. They're told it's the Jews, so that's why they're being anti-Semitic.
So Andrew's trying to make you believe that all young men don't take responsibility for their lives like him, who blame everybody, blame the Matrix. I don't think people are that angry. I just think they want to sit down and have a conversation and not be told how to think or what they should say when it's obviously obvious what's going on. That Benjamin Netanyahu is controlling President Trump and AIPAC has too much influence over our politicians and they're corrupting them all. That's not being angry. And Andrew, right, he sums up everybody. You know, they're mad and they're angry, like, and they're not taking responsibility. No, you don't take responsibility for you're describing yourself, Andrew. The Matrix.
That's the truth about what is happening.
And it's funny though, Andrew, like, what's Nicholas Sneak? He's a grown man. I'm going to call him his real name. He's Filipino, Haitian, and his father is of Jewish descent. So on top of that, it doesn't make any sense. He's the Jew. So you're going to go to a town that's predominantly a lot of Jewish.
Vinny, he's half Jewish. Yes, we get that. But you're allowed to be a Jewish person and criticize Zionism and be like, I'm sick of it. Especially if you love America. Like, it doesn't mean he hates his own people per se. It's just so ridiculous already.
Own business is. You're technically Jewish too. You're playing that song, and then when you get in trouble for it, you're screaming anti-Semitism, and it's all the Jews run everything, and it's ridiculous. And I think in that sense too, Andrew, they use you, which I know you're upset. You have to be. They use you to play that song to be like, look who's with us. And you're right. I saw you. You walked right out, and even in the nightclub, you were kind of like whatever. But I would be even more livid because coming from a guy that has a Jewish father, brings you in, plays the Hitler song, and then you're the only guy that's going to catch real flack for it.
Yeah, I think it was, so if I'm going to be
Andrew's the only one that's going to catch real flack for it. Interesting. We saw what Ben Shapiro tried to do to Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes will get it the worst out of anybody, not Andrew Tate, the leader. Okay. So I don't know what you're talking about, Vinny.
Optimistic, it was short-sighted by them. If I'm going to be pessimistic, it was certainly very. I mean, I wouldn't say they set me up, but they should have known that this is going to cause a whole bunch of flack for me specifically
in Miami.
In Miami, of course. But if I'm totally honest with you, I don't think that any of them are deeply anti-Semitic genuinely, and I don't think that any of them really thought it through. Honestly, I think they're just kids. I think they're just kids. It gets a reaction. They think they're funny. They're on the internet. They need a reaction. They want likes, and they did some fucking dumb shit. That's what I think it is. I think they're just literally retarded.
How old is Nicholas? If you don't, how old? I know.
I don't know. They're all young. They're all in their young 20s or something.
I would love to agree with you, brother, but they're not old.
Here we go. The ultimate victim, Adam here. All right. He's a pro-Trumper now. Now, he's only pro-Trump now because Trump is doing everything that Israel wants. That's why. He hated Trump. And then he made I was lied to by the media. Mr. Smarty here.
Kids. By the way, nobody online.
Isn't his voice unbearable? His takes are unbearable. His voice is, it's just like, oh God. I was doing cardio today listening to this, and like, it was just making me, I was like awesome at it today. I'll tell you.
The Jewish community defends you more online or behind the scenes than me.
I appreciate it.
Oh God! Nobody in the Jewish community defends you more than me, Andrew. Can I sniff your underwear and make sure it has skid stains in it after the show, please?
That, sir.
So,
I appreciate that.
I had dinner with Tristan.
It's just so cringe.
And
of course.
Justin Wall the other day. I got the call. It's Sunday. You ruined my day. At the very least, you ruined my Sunday.
Bro, I woke
with my nephew.
I woke up. I was like, what
I
the
feel
fuck?
you. And I get a call from.
Every time I see, this from even when the time I was a kid, every time I saw somebody with a big, disgusting cigar in their mouth, I always thought to myself, look at this asshole. And I still do. I guess I have racism towards cigars.
Not one person, not everybody.
Yep.
Your brother, you're texting me, Justin Waller, the club owners, the DJ, everyone, the mayor.
The bathroom attendant.
Like, the bathroom attendant, I tip him good. He called me.
Who's Cuban, but go ahead.
But they're not all kids. We know Myron's almost 40.
Yeah.
You're almost 40.
Yep.
Tristan's 35.
Yep.
This ain't kid stuff. So what I think is I actually believe you. You think I'm going to wait for 5?
It's not kids. It's a song that you don't like. It's a song that you don't like. That's all it is. It's a song that you don't agree with. It's not the end of the world. It's a song that is. Kanye was mad at when he was trying to buy a bank, and then his handlers, Jewish businessmen that he was in business with, they like stopped his accounts and took like $200 million was missing from his Adidas account or something. And then he made this song to piss them off. And it obviously worked. But hey, it's a song. It's just so ridiculous.
5 years of working with you, friendship with you, to throw you under the bus last minute, that's not how we roll. But I think.
And Adam's the same guy that knows every rap song by heart. Yeah. Blow him up with the switch, blah, blah, blah. Pop your pee-pee. You know what I mean? It's just like, but those songs are acceptable. Songs about robbing and killing white people, Caucasianoids, that's acceptable. Gang violence is acceptable. All these other disgusting songs are acceptable. But how dare you criticize the chosen ones? Oh, God. It's just sickening. It's like every race gets criticized, but you all know one race that is not allowed to be criticized. One religion, I should say.
Sneeko played the song.
Yeah.
I think Tristan explicitly told me that Sneeko played the song. I think when you sort of diffuse the situation, they're kids being kids. Myron, who, you know how much time we've spent with Myron.
Yep.
That ain't no kid stuff.
Well, Myron's not a kid, and he's a really good friend of mine.
I agree.
And Myron's not a kid. You're right.
Adam, the ADL, are you outraged what they do? Are you outraged with all their policies and the discrimination that they give towards Caucasians and Catholics and Christians? Are you mad at the ADL? I'm just curious. Are you ever outraged about that? About the discrimination thrown out by the ADL? Of course you're not, Adam. I wonder why.
I don't know if Sneeko played the song. Sneeko played the song. I'm telling you from my perspective, and I don't want to make it something.
But how do you feel about that? Because let me ask you a specific question.
Sure.
Do you know how much time I spent with your brother and Justin Waller at 9 o'clock on Sunday? I left at 3 in the morning.
Adam, you really believe those pictures? You really believe what Myron is doing is not trying to get a reaction out of you? Obviously, it's working. Because it's like now the world will end because Myron was doing, the hand gesture, he was messing around. Do I think Myron's going to go out and attack Jewish people? No. Now because he used, humor that a lot of people don't appreciate? No, I don't. But it's just like, whatever.
Serious conversations, laughs. Of course, we're having Blue Label.
Yeah.
And Tristan, in my perspective, is like, dude, I'm done with these people. That's my perspective. I'll let him speak for himself. But he told me a story about your grandfather.
Yep.
Oh, here we go.
Who served in World War II.
Here
Yes?
the big
Yes.
story.
The American.
The
Yep.
pearl clutching.
What would your grandfather say about that? A neo-Nazi symbol who fought the Nazis.
Yeah, I understand. And
Adam's trying to give a history lesson, and they're intentionally do this to just draw negative attention to themselves and piss everybody off. And again, obviously it worked. But Adam, he wants to give a big history lesson.
we have to be very, very careful. I understand exactly what you're saying. I agree that that is offensive to many people. I totally understand it. And I'm not here to get myself.
It's offensive to Americans.
Well, yes.
Forget about just Jews. American lives die.
Now he's the big America first. guy. Adam, anybody that watches the show knows that you're Israel first. So just knock it off. Just quit while you're ahead, Adam.
Fighting Nazis.
That's true. That's true.
Your grandfather's friends died fighting Nazis. That, to me, Jews or not Jews, Americans went to war against
Here we
Nazis.
go.
That
Now
was
we're a
an
big
American
America
thing.
guy. Right.
I wear an American flag pin, not an Israeli flag pin, not a global flag pin, certainly not an LGBT.
This is the same piece of garbage that said that anybody that's interested in the Epstein files is a loser in his mom's basement drinking Mountain Dew that's overweight. And that's the only thing they can cling to in life. And he's only saying that because Epstein worked for the Israeli government. And it's just typical Sosnick being the weasel rat that he is.
Flag, American flag pin.
Yep.
My grandfather fought in World War II.
Yep.
So to me, this is anti-American. And I'm cool with Myron. I used to be cool with Myron. But how am I going to hang out with that? How are you going to hang out with that?
I've known Myron for a very long time. He's been a great friend.
He wants Andrew to condemn everybody who was there, just like they do to Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly, she even said, Megyn Kelly goes, I'm a Zionist. And now, since she didn't do every single thing that Ben Shapiro wanted, call out Candace, call out Tucker, now she's an anti-Semite. And that's what they'll do to Andrew, too. That's what they'll do to Andrew, because this is what Sosnick wants. He wants Andrew to condemn everybody else's behavior. And I don't like Andrew at all, but how is he responsible for everybody else's behavior? He's not.
Friend of mine. And I have to make this very clear to the world. I have a whole bunch of friends who do a whole bunch of shit that perhaps I would not do myself, or I may not 100% agree with. But that doesn't mean they're not my friends, and I don't speak to them. I have to be honest here, guys. I'm really not trying to do some big apology tour. And the reason for that is because I really didn't do anything wrong. So I want to make this clear. I understand why some people were offended. I understand they want to attach it to my name. I understand that it gets clicks in the media if you say Andrew Tate did X, Y, Z. I got on a bus. Full-grown men made decisions while I sat on my phone. I then got off the bus and stood in a nightclub while other people played songs while I sat on my phone. If they want to crucify me for that, that's up to them. Myron made the Nazi salute because he thought it was funny. That's Myron to come here and defend.
Of course.
It's not for me to sit here and come here and defend. Myron is someone I know and I respect and I like. Even if he did something that offended me, even if I found that offensive, I would still say, oh, okay, well, I like Myron. I have a whole bunch of friends who do a whole bunch of things that I don't like. I have black friends, white friends. I have every single type of friend you can have. We have the most racist group chat in the world. This is the world I live in, right? And I think that the reason the anti-Semitism issue is so sensitive is, one, because of the prevalence, especially online.
Yeah, for one, because nobody's allowed to criticize Israel, even when your argument is 100% valid. And then the response to your valid argument is that you're an anti-Semite and you hate Jewish people, which is totally ridiculous. But anyway.
And I'm not going to lie, I see it everywhere myself. I'm not even Jewish. It must be scary to see it absolutely everywhere online. The reason for that, I've just given you my theory as to why. That's the first reason. Second thing, of course, is World War II, and a lot of people died in the name of defending Jews. Of course, I understand that completely. But then thirdly, and I'd like to have an actual open and honest conversation about this. Don't we think, and I actually want your opinions, the fact that a song came on and the reaction has been so fierce and so, not aggressive, but so it's so clear that songs like this can't be played without meeting genuine power in the world. Don't you think, to somebody who is completely detached from this situation, somebody at home who has nothing to do with this situation, watches it and sits and goes, ah, see, they are in charge of everything? I'm asking.
I'm going to get, this is the perfect, by the way.
Okay, since we're on the topic, okay, if President Trump is the president of the United States, and we all know that Benjamin Netanyahu controls him, which is undeniable, then who really runs everything? He's the most powerful man in the world, controlled by Miriam Adelson and Benjamin Netanyahu. So why is it so far-fetched to say that Jewish people completely run America? It's true. That's why. Who runs the music industry? Who runs the movie industry? Who runs the banking industry? Who's controlling the president of the United States? Does that mean I hate Jewish people because that's the reality of things? Do you hear how stupid you sound?
I'm so grateful we're having this conversation because the world needs to see this.
Yeah.
If this was played in any other city, Tate, you would not see this reaction.
Got it.
Can I explain something?
Sure.
Miami Beach, they don't play this game, dog.
Well, clearly.
You're not going to Mamdani Miami.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
By the way, Stephen Miner, the mayor, Joe Magazine, David Suarez, you have a Jew and an Italian and a Cuban walk into a nightclub and they say, we don't play this game, homie.
At this point, you're probably not avoiding therapy because of stigma. You're probably avoiding therapy because you've become...
Aaron, Adam, you know how cringe it is that like the 45-year-old white Jewish guy is using the word homie? Can you just stop, please?
We see what's going on in the world, and every Jew, every capitalist, every billionaire leaving California, leaving New York, they're like, where can we go? You know how the Governor DeSantis said, Florida's where woke goes to die.
Good friend of mine.
Your boy. Florida is where woke goes to die. Well, you know what? Miami is where racism goes to die. And by the way,
Miami's where racism goes to die. Oh, guess you never been to the Pork and Beans or the projects, huh? I mean, hey, okay. Anyway, Adam,
I'm an equal opportunity employer when it comes to racism.
Yep.
Stand-up comedian, former stand-up comedian.
Yep.
One day PBD is going to get his shot. We know about that. And I would say this, it's not racist if you make fun of everybody. Anybody can get it.
So I'm clear.
We got a black guy there.
here we go. He says that anybody can get it. Anybody, it's not racist as long as everybody's being made fun of. White people get destroyed online. How many movies are you going to make about the evil white man, you know, creating slavery? I mean, there's a movie every week about the evil white man. Songs online. You could destroy white people. You could say whatever you want. Kill them, this and that. Every race gets it to some degree. But if you criticize Jewish people or Israel, even when you have a legitimate argument, you don't act like a total idiot doing certain salutes and all that other garbage, you get called an anti-Semite. So let's be serious, Adam, please.
We got an Italian guy there.
So I'm clear.
We got a gay guy there. I don't know. Nick Fuentes, gay, whatever it is. But it's only bad when you single out one group.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the challenge that you're going to happen. So all these guys that basically...
What Adam really meant to say is you can criticize every group, black people, white people, Asian people, Catholics and Christians, but nobody, and I mean nobody, is allowed to criticize Jewish people or your life will be over. That's what Adam really meant to say.
basically own the clubs, run the city. It's not just Jews. Cubans, Venezuelans, Jamaicans, Haitians. No. It's one big melting pot, Miami. Go. And the universal truth in Miami is don't bring that BS here. I'll explain why, and then I want to hear.
Oh, yeah. Adam talks for all the other races in Miami. He knows what goes on in all the neighborhoods, right? Racism doesn't exist in Miami at all. Okay, Adam. That's a good one, Adam. You know what? Let's drop your white ass off in the projects in Miami. Let's see how that goes, Adam. Okay.
Your perspective, obviously. Jews have fled anti-Semitism, came to Miami. Mm-hmm. Half of South America, looking in the room here, fled communism, socialism, comes to Miami. Haitians flee corruption, come to Miami. Italians flee fascism, come to Miami. The reason that Miami is that city is because they all know what the rest of the world looks like.
Yeah.
That's why you're getting this reaction. Any other city, you're not going to get this. Okay?
Actually, when Cubans first came, that's because Fidel Castro, for the most part, he like opened the prisons and dropped off millions of people. So it's just like, Adam, if you're not going to tell history the full thing, then don't talk about history. Yes, some normal, hardworking Cuban people came, how they legally or illegally, whatever. But Castro also opened the prisons and dumped them in Miami, and everybody knows, just like Venezuelans just did to us recently, Adam. So make sure if you're going to talk history, Adam, talk about the whole thing, which I'm sure you can't. But anyway,
I think you've lived in a bubble where you think Miami's the only place. Thank God you lived in Addison for a year and a couple other places. I think this is bigger than that to me. And by the way, I'd like to go to the next topic. Let's do a couple other things on this and let's move on.
Patrick Bet-David can't take hearing Adam talk anymore because it's like I just want to beat myself up listening to that moron talk.
To the next few topics to get into. I think, Tate, for me, it's a different conversation for you because every year when a new year starts, it's about how am I recreating myself for the next level. You know, when I was in my 20s, my buddy promoted a club called Club Jerk in Melrose, and then we used to go to Pimps and Hoes, and we used to go to, no, literally, I don't know if you ever heard of Pimps and Hoes.
It's a great name.
We used to go, it was literally called Pimps and Hoes in Vegas. I don't know if you want to pull it up or not.
Human trafficking.
They was, yeah, no, they would.
Yeah, exactly what you are, Andrew.
Put the biggest clubs with 20,000 people show up. And LA had a nightclub called Club Naked. You know, you had all these different places to go to. And friends that you had that would do different things. And then one day I'm like, I got to recreate myself. And I'm going to the next level.
I totally understand your point. Nick Fuentes says a lot of things I agree with. I don't agree with everything he says. I've seen clips of him say things, and I found them very funny. I had never met him before. Clav's blown up online. He's doing things. I've seen some clips. I'd never met him before.
And see, he just said, and that's exactly why he wanted to be in the club with them. So that's all. And it's just, it's always, I didn't do anything. No, he went there because he wanted to be next to Nick and Clav because they're riding the biggest wave right now. That's why. So, and you know, Patrick Bet-David, he doesn't want to see this. Oh, you got to reinvent yourself. He knows this scam artist, con man, and pimp knows exactly what he's doing.
I got to Miami for the first time in a long time. They said, guys, let's meet up. We met up. Nico came along. We went out. They played a song. For me, I understand what you're saying. Like, I need to reinvent myself, and I have all these charges.
If you choose to, you don't have to.
Of course, but I have all these charges, and I have the potential to have a brand new image, and I'm one of the best, most well-known people on the planet. If I meet somebody for the first time, or I meet people and hang out with them for 6 or 7 hours, and the entire thing is filmed, and 30 seconds blows up, I understand, and I'm really not trying to just pass blame, and I'm not trying to make excuses. But truthfully, I don't see what I should have done differently besides say, oh, I've never met you before. You haven't been vetted. I'm never going to meet anybody ever. Or sit in a car and say, sorry, guys, because I'm in this car, we must cut off the Bluetooth. Let me take everybody's phone from them. Like, it is what it is. I understand how these things get attached to my name. It's very inconvenient for me. I have Jewish business partners. I have tech teams in Israel. I have things going on, and I get a mess from this crap too. I can argue that I was set up. I can argue that Sneeko wasn't thinking. I can argue that they were just trying to chase clicks. I could argue it was malicious or not malicious. But truthfully, from the bottom of my heart, truthfully, I'm not here to beg sorry from anybody. I was in a van, and I was in a club. That club also played songs about beating the shit out of women and shooting fucking black people. I didn't put any of the songs on. I'm not the DJ. And I think actually, truthfully, and we have to analyze this from an outside perspective. I'm not saying this as me. I'm saying this from a complete outsider. Everybody understands the scenario I just explained. Everybody's been in a car with people they don't know when someone else has the Bluetooth. Everybody has. So everybody can sit and say, well, if he's getting such a hard time over this, well, obviously, some of the conspiracy theories must be true. Like, what did I do here? If the Jewish community want to come to me and say, Andrew, we're going to drive you out of Miami or put a bullet in your head, I'll say, well, then do it, because I just sat in a car. I'm really not going to sit here and beg sorry for sitting in a car. I sat in a car. And perhaps, yes, I should be more careful with the company I keep, correct. I'd never met half of these people ever before. They're some of the most famous people in the world. If you go and meet some of the most well-known people on the planet, and one of them sniffs coke, is it your fault?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to sit and say, I met an actor, he's really famous, he's one of the biggest guys in the world, and he got photographed sniffing coke, and because you're relevant, they say, Patrick Bet-David caught up in drug scandal. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? Grab men by their throat when they grab a phone to put on a Bluetooth? Like, I totally understand some people are offended by it. I get it. And perhaps maybe I'm just numb. Perhaps I've been through so much shit in my life that my brain's just numb. Perhaps. But if you were to put on a song, any song, saying, I hate half-black loudmouths, I wouldn't give a fuck.
I'd put you on the cover.
But that's the truth. So I'm sorry to anybody who is offended. I'm sorry to anybody who's offended. If I had played the song,
No other people would probably even care if they were talking directly about their race or religion. They would just be like, oh, that's your opinion. Just another day, but hey.
myself and danced around to it, sure. I was in a car.
Can I?
That's my answer.
Can I, dude? I don't want an apology. Nobody. I don't even.
I don't think this is a no.
He doesn't owe you an apology, Adam. And I don't even like Andrew.
I don't think this is a podcast to bring you on to apologize.
Not at all.
And by the way, he calls me. You and I are talking. I checked on. I didn't even know you're coming in town. When I message, I'm like, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm just," because I was messaging the other.
Yeah.
There's a couple places we communicate with. One of them, you didn't respond back. I said, "Is he good?" So then I messaged Matt.
Yeah.
And then I messaged back. It's like, "No, it's this one." And so I messaged it, checking to see how you're doing. And you're like, "Hey, I'm in town.
Yeah.
You're in town. I'm in town." And then obviously our guys are telling me this. No, for me, I look at everybody as a product of what is next for them. What is the next thing they need to do? What is the next thing they ought to consider doing as a iOS, 14.0 for Tate? What is that for Tate? What is Tate 15.0? And you look at a lot of people in the marketplace that way.
Totally understand.
So I think about it from that standpoint.
This hurts political ambitions for very little gain. Totally understand. It's just whether I could have stopped this or seen this coming. That's the question. I'm all glad this happened.
And even though I'm ripping Andrew because he wanted to be next to Clavicular and he wanted to be next to Nick Fuentes because that's what he does. He always wants to be relevant. I'm not blaming him for this song being played, even though you might think I'm not blaming him. How is this his fault? And all of the pearl clutching and the outrage, like there's another Holocaust around the corner coming our way or something. It's just so ridiculous.
The question is, could I have stopped it? Well, no, because I didn't even know they were doing it. What I could do is when they put it on the car is leave the car.
I think you could have stopped it. I think you could have stopped it.
How?
I think you could easily stop it.
How?
First of all,
play the clip of when it comes on the car and I leave the car. What else am I supposed to do?
Let me tell you I'll tell you what I would do. For instance, you guys go out. Do you think if you invite me, I'm coming out?
If I invite you, will you come out?
Do you think if you guys go to a nightclub and the two of you guys invite me, am I coming out?
You probably not.
Why would I not come out?
Because I guess you don't enjoy going to nightclubs.
But no, why do you think I wouldn't come out? If you invite me to dinner and we're just hanging out, I stayed at your place in Romania till I don't know what time we were there having a conversation.
Oh,
it was incredible conversation, right?
Of course, nightclubs are absolute bullshit.
But think about this for a second. So if you were to invite me to go to a certain places, in your mind, you'd probably say, there's no way Pat's going to come out to this, but let's go to dinner with them. No problem. So I control where I go to, and I determine my standards of what to do. If he says to me, Pat, let's go out, I'm going to bring 10 girls out. Yeah, he's not even going to invite me because he knows I'm not going to go. Yeah. So you're going to invite me for what? By the way, if I'm going to places that I have my kids with me and I'm doing certain things with family, I'm not inviting this guy out because he may come out and, say certain things. I got a couple boys, I'm trying to raise them in a certain way. I may be like, nah.
You know what's crazy about this whole situation? There's people that lose their lives every day to illegal aliens crashing into them while they're drunk, being murdered, being sexually assaulted, all types of every single day you have illegal that does something to an American citizen. And there's like no outrage. The way this is the outrage over this, it's like, man, I'll tell you, the movies did a number on everybody's brain.
You're going to cause a little too much mayhem, and I have certain standards. To me, I watch all these guys, and here's what I like. I had Nick Fuentes on the podcast. I cannot believe you did this. I had Netanyahu. I was the only podcast that we had Netanyahu and Nick Fuentes on within 30 days.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Okay, and by the way, when we had Nick on, Shapiro canceled.
Yeah.
Literally a week later, he canceled. He was supposed to be on the podcast 2 weeks later. And we knew when this was going to happen. I told the team. The only thing for me is I get to choose the standards of where I go out to. Like here, guess what? This is our club. There is no phones here. I don't
See, and see what Patrick Bet David is saying. And this is my problem with Andrew. He wants everybody to believe that he knows that if you go somewhere with Myron, Sneeko, and Nick, of all people, all three of them, if you go somewhere with all three of them, you already know what you're going to be called. And Andrew wants you to believe that he didn't know that was going to happen. Okay, whether they played the song or not, whether that song was played or not, he was going to get called anti-Semite.
like phones here. We talked about it this morning. Some people are here to watch this. There are no phones. It's my standard. So that's the part when I watch you. Like yesterday, I'm at the Miami game with Indiana. What a freaking game it was. You know, I take Dylan out.
I'm dealing with some PTSD.
But let me tell you why. You ready? Let me tell you why. And I'm going to paint a picture for you.
Yes, sir.
And I think it's going to make sense to him. They're singing the national anthem. And then all of a sudden, they cut out to Trump. The place loses their mind, is what it does. Okay? And then comes back out. And then 20 minutes later, they show a video with Obama. The entire place boos. I don't know if you heard. Oh, it was the worst booze I saw in my life when Obama came up. They're going to play this somewhere. Okay? But then there was one part where they showed Trump on the big screen. And guess who's sitting right next to him? Dana White. And Dana goes like this. He's got a Miami Hurricanes shirt on. You belong in that room.
Yeah.
Okay? That's where you belong. To me.
Oh my God. Andrew Tate belongs next to Andrew Tate belongs next to President Trump and Dana White. A human trafficker, a pimp, and a pedophile should be next to Donald Trump and Dana White and all the most important people on the planet. I mean, hey, maybe if he wants to work for Epstein and Mossad, you could have Andrew Tate sit in that room. You know what? That's what Andrew Tate should do. He should fill out an application with the White House, and he should become the next Jeffrey Epstein. That's what I think Tate needs to do.
When I watch you with the way you communicate, it's going this way. You know, that's the part. And I watch these guys. I was one of them. Even when I had Nick on, I'm like, listen, he was 18 years old when he said some of this stuff. You got to be held accountable for it, but we have to give a chance for people to recreate themselves. It comes to us. It comes to what, Tate's decision is what to do next. And I know, I'm not here to say what you said about Israel, all this other stuff, because you did.
I totally understand the point you're making. Totally. Myron's an amazing friend of mine. Doesn't mean I agree with everything he says and does.
Oh, here we
amazing
go.
Friend
They always
got
to throw that in there.
He's rode for me when I got in a lot of trouble. I've known him for a very long time. The other two I had never met before. Nick, I believe, had never been to a club before.
Yeah.
If you watch the entire stream, it's a long conversation about me saying, I don't want to go to a club. But Nick's never been to a club before.
Remember what I said earlier in the video. Myron Gaines came out and said he's Muslim, he's a black Muslim, that he intentionally has this Jewish manager so he can say all these anti-Semitic things that get labeled anti-Semitic so he can get out of it and so his channel won't get strikes. And then he pays him big time money. So he has a Jewish manager that backs all of his play. But hey, let's blame Nick Fuentes in this song.
It's Nick's first ever.
Literally never been to a club.
Nick's first ever time. It's Nick's first ever time in a club. You have to come.
That's true.
So I was like, I don't want to come. And then I ended up going, and clearly it wasn't worth it. But here I am.
Yeah.
So, it's an unfortunate circumstance. I truthfully hope everybody who's offended by it can move past it and understand that no one's out here trying to round anyone up and shoot them in the head. I believe, if you ask me why, I think that there's some streamers who are so obsessed with getting clicks that they don't think ahead. And that's why they did it. And that's why I left.
So I'm with Pat on this, and I'll explain why.
Sure.
Because we had dinner 6 months ago, and we invited Pat.
Yep.
And we shot a video, you and me, Pat, where you at?
And he wouldn't come, you're right.
And I said, Pat's not coming.
Yeah, you're right.
We sent you the video.
You know why Pat doesn't want to go? Because he has to hear your voice for like so many hours a day and he can't take anymore. That's why he doesn't go.
There was no chance, but respectfully, we're going to invite him. I'm a little offended.
I didn't invite you.
No.
Bro, that would have been a video. If I would have had you there, that would have been.
Here's what I would have done.
That would have been a video.
But here's what I would have done. Let me ask you a very simple question. The night we went out, we had dinner at on top of 11.
Yeah.
Did we not have an amazing night?
Yeah,
Did
we
you
had
get
fun.
in any trouble whatsoever?
No,
brother?
I didn't get in any trouble.
Did we have? Wasn't it a way better night?
Of course.
So
Are you saying you're a better host than who he was with?
I'm a way
that what
better
you're saying?
host than Nick Fuentes at the club, dog.
But you know
So
what?
hear me out.
Guys,
Hear me out.
Nick's funny
Of
to me.
course. You know how much hate I get for associating with Nick Fuentes because I interviewed the guy?
Yeah.
I got canceled off of TikTok for interviewing Nick Fuentes.
Wow.
In a challenging interview.
Wild.
I got canceled. TikTok. Thanks, China. But here's my point. We eat dinner at Giselle. We go down to 11.
Yeah.
Thanks, China. We all know your buddy, Trump gave your buddies TikTok at him.
You say to me, hey, bro, amazing night. I got to cut out early. I can't be at the club.
Yeah.
This is at the #1 club, not in Miami, in the world.
Correct.
11.
Correct.
You have the mindset to be like, let me get out of here. You go with guys who don't know anything about Miami,
Yeah.
nothing about clubs. You go to some shithole club, Vendome. What Pat is basically saying is, you're better than all this. And that's my opinion. So, final point.
I don't think I'm saying he's better than this.
No, I'm saying this.
Okay, that's what you're saying.
I'm saying that
I'm
Tate is-
saying
Pat jerked about David just said, I don't think he's better than all this.
I'm saying what's his
Yes.
he belongs in a, and this is a conversation we had 3 years ago,
Yeah.
2 years ago, when, you know, that's between he and I. But I'm saying he belongs in a bigger room.
I fully agree with you.
Oh, give me a break. And he deserves to be in a bigger room, Andrew Tate. Okay, Patrick. Maybe he could put in an application again to be the next Jeffrey Epstein. That's the only benefit he could do in a bigger room. I mean, he has plenty of experience.
What to do to get into those rooms,
And
because
that's
impact can
Tate's
be
decision.
bigger. And by the way,
Yeah.
I invite, and I want you to finish your thought,
Yeah.
because I think what you're saying is, if you come into Miami, call me. I'm going to be a better host. I know the good places. I know. And by the way,
I'm not even-
as much as I'm teasing you,
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you, because you know the places in Miami. And the guys, you know, you're connected with everybody. All I'm saying is a very different message.
Yeah.
My message is, what's the next room to get into and solve for that. That's all it is. And by the way, you know what's crazy about it? Myron Games, I invited him over to the office 6 months ago. This is a meeting Myron and I had. It's no one's business. Myron knows what conversation I had with him. I sat him down. I said, Myron, you know, he came with his dog. It was so funny. Everyone's like, why is there a dog in the office? I said, I don't know. He walks with a dog. It's okay. Bring the dog. And I sat him and I said, you know how great of a communicator you are? You would make such a better point if you chose to do X, Y, Z. This was the conversation we had with Myron, because I see him as such a talent. Same thing with Nick. I think you are the leader of this crew, and everyone knows it.
Yep.
You're the leader of all of these.
Give me a break. Andrew Tate is not the leader of Nick Fuentes, Patrick Bet-David, so just stop. Andrew Tate is a criminal, and that's it. And he'll always be a criminal. He'll always be a scammer. Matter of fact, you guys just pushed some bullshit Bitcoin on your audience not even a year ago together. Are you guys going to push the Bitcoin scam on the audience after today's thing? Nick and even Myron, even though he doesn't, you know, he does some dumb things sometimes, they're 10 million times smarter than Andrew Tate could ever be. Andrew Tate is not a leader. Andrew Tate's the leader and should be in bigger rooms. Wow. America would have real issues if that was the case.
These guys, they all follow your lead. And by the way, I even saw a clip. I think the Nicholas guy was calling you out in a clip a few weeks ago. I can't believe
Nick
who?
Who's Sneeko?
Yeah, Sneeko. He was calling you out on a
Oh, yeah,
couple things.
Pico does loads
Yeah.
of clips insulting me all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I mean, I completely understand what you're saying.
But
Sneeko
that's
does-
okay. I just think they're supposed to do that, because if the leader at the top chooses to go here, these guys have to choose to lead, and those who don't follow his lead, they bash him. It's a very normal state of
Patrick Bet-David can't be any. He's so wrong on this point that he's trying to make. Andrew Tate, Justin Waller, and the rest of these clowns went to that club, Tristan, to be next to Clavicular and Nick Fuentes because they're riding the biggest wave right now. Andrew Tate is not the leader of America First or this new wave. That's Nick Fuentes. Okay. So his take is just totally off. Oh, yeah. Andrew Tate is the leader of this group. Give me a fucking break.
How the process goes.
Myron's an amazing friend of mine. He's never insulted me to my knowledge. I think Nick Fuentes has said some things negative about me in the past, but now we get along. I think Clavs said some negative things about me, but it's the first time I met him. I know Sneeko's said endless negative things about me over and over again because it gets him clicks. I landed in Miami. It was the first time to meet Nick and Clav. The guys came along. If you would have told me, Andrew, if you go to the club, a international incident is going to take place, of course I wouldn't have gone. I sat there. I don't go to clubs. I don't like clubs. There was a long conversation about being Nick's first day in the club. And I truthfully, perhaps in my ignorance, thought that I could go to a club for 15 minutes without having a mess.
Yeah.
And I was wrong. But, so here it is.
By the way, I don't have any critique of you other than it was a poor decision, because I agree with Pat. You are a leader and you're leading these knuckleheads into stupid decisions. We're moving on from that. Here's what I do want to say.
So Andrew Tate is now the leader that led them into the stupid decisions. And I don't even like Andrew. He wasn't the one that made them play that record. And he's not the leader of them. He went there again because Nick and Clavicular have all the spotlight on them. And he's trying to get in that spotlight. But he's the leader.
24 hours later, this is so funny. I'm getting calls from all these guys. I come over to Eric's house. I'm having for dinner the leftovers from the night before from Prime 1. You hungry? Yeah, whatever. Your food. Typical Jews. They're like, you want a drink? I'm drinking Blue Label with Tristan. And I'm, guys, what's going on here? Like, you're calling me to get my feedback. I didn't call you guys. What up, bro? Can I eat your leftovers?
What's your point?
So here's my point.
Exactly. What is your point?
I want to say something.
It's so Adam's like, he thinks he's so cool from hanging out with Andrew Tate. He's 45 years old and thinks this human trafficker is like the coolest thing on the planet. But hey.
Taxes is feeling unlucky. Taxes?
In 24 hours, the world changed, not the world changed, this situation changed. I do want to say one thing, and I want to validate everything you're saying, because the whole thing was, who done it? Who played the song? In my opinion, it was Sneeko. I'll let him speak for himself. I do think Myron is your friend, and you have no idea how much respect I have for you when you can throw him under the bus right now and you don't. Respect.
I'm not going to do. I can't.
Sneeko, I have zero idea why some guy that talks crap about you for a living, brother, you still would associate with. That's your call. You know who I love? You know who I love?
You want to know why, Adam? Because he wants to be next to Nick and Clavicular, and he doesn't care. That's why, Adam. It's all about him trying to reestablish his dominance on YouTube and to get more subscribers and views. But hey, let's not talk about it, right? Because Andrew Tate's a billionaire, as he claims.
And no matter what he does, I'll say, that's my dog, Justin Waller.
Yeah, 100%.
The reason that I came...
Justin's the man.
The reason I came to the house, he was
Waller's the ultimate blowjob.
My first text, I said, Waller, what's going on? You know, he goes, Saz, let me explain what happened. Let's go. He goes, what kind of music you think I listen to? I go,
watch the stream. We were playing country music.
You're a country music dude.
Of course.
So he sends me the video. Tristan could be James Bond.
Yeah.
He's a little stressed out. He's like, bro, I want to come to Miami.
Tristan, that could be. He is.
Yeah.
He is James Bond.
He's like,
Tristan, the bottom, is James Bond. As his 4 baby mamas work on webcam all day long, and then he takes all their money. But Tristan is James Bond because he walks around in a suit that he had that he bought with girls that he pimps out on webcam. But he's James Bond, right, Patrick by David?
I don't want this in my life. I know you know people, like, respectfully, like, hook a brother up. I go, I got you. I'm on the phone with the mayor of Miami Beach. What do I tell you? Hey, sir, I'll call you right back. 1 minute. Yeah. You're putting Dylan to bed. I tell the mayor, hey, I got to talk to Pat because he actually pays my bills. You don't. Yeah. You collect my taxes on me. Yeah. Like,
you robbed me.
Yeah, you robbed me. He pays me. So respectfully, Mr. Mayor, respect, whatever. He's saying, dude, I don't know this song.
Yeah.
I'm a country guy. And I see you walk out of the van, and I'm like, all right, well, the song was on for 10 seconds.
First of all, the mayor can't ban somebody to go to Miami Beach because they listened to a song or had a belief. You could get banned from a nightclub, but they're not banning you from Miami Beach because a song was played in your presence. I mean, just give me a fucking break. Are any of yous outraged that Ron DeSantis went to Israel to sign a bill in Israel as he's kissing the wall that, that basically makes anybody criticizing Israel that now it's a hate speech and you could be arrested in Florida? Anybody outraged about that? Why the governor of Florida is signing a bill about Floridians in Israel? Is anybody outraged about that?
Sneeko, I guess, is so broke that he's not even paying for the ad-free thing. They're playing commercials.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
But here's what he said, and I want to give you a chance. He did validate everything you're saying. The reason you went is because Nick Fuentes, virgin, never been to a club, a virgin and a literal club virgin. You wanted to see him be basically like dance monkey in the club.
Oh yeah, Adam, because what's his name here? Andrew Tate and Tristan, they're really going to admit that they're trying to leech off of Nick and Clavicular's fame on YouTube and in the streaming world. Oh, yeah, they're going to come out and admit it, right, Adam?
Club, so to speak. And I actually understand that. But when you show up to a club with the Nazi Avengers, Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines, Sneeko, you're going to get looped into this, and whose head's going to roll first? Well, not some cloud kid nobody's heard of. Andrew Tate. You're the leader.
I understand.
I'm fine. Not to cut you off. And I know you guys said, like, he's not choosing to be their leader. You are a leader, and they are, like, looking up to you. So
another clown. Vinny, just stop with the clown stuff. Oh, yeah, Andrew Tate's the leader. Okay, whatever. Yeah, Nick doesn't have a brain. Andrew's the leader. Okay.
It's not like
think a 20-year-old
you're choosing to be like, yo, I'm in charge of you guys.
This kid shouldn't be in the club. He's 20. That's another conversation.
Yeah.
He's meeting you for the first time. You're his idol.
I understand the point you're making. And you know what? Nico has insulted me endless times, especially across the last 4 years. I haven't seen him in years and years and years. But maybe, maybe it's the man code in me. He's insulted me so many times, and I could sit here and throw him under the bus, but it's just not who I am as a person. I want to meet Nick and Clav. It's Clav and Nick who reached out to me. You're in America. We've never met before. Come through. We're with Sneeko. Is that okay? My reply was, Sneeko always has some crybaby issue with me. If he's not going to cry his eyes out, he can come. And he came along, and he made a fucking mess. And I could sit here and blame it all on him. But that's truthfully not, I don't know. That just feels wrong to me. I'm not going to sit here and say who else it was. I'm just going to say I didn't do it. I'm just going to say that I didn't play the song. I don't find the song funny. I didn't think it was appropriate to do. It's someone else's decision. We can drag him up here and we can ask him why he did it. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps when they said Nick's never been to a club before, I should have thought, Nick's never been to a club before. It's the first time I've ever met him. It might be a funny story. I haven't been in America in a year. You know what? I'm bored. I don't even like clubs, but I'm in Miami. Maybe I should go for 15 minutes. Perhaps that was the wrong decision. Perhaps it was. Perhaps I should have known better. But I went. And here we are.
Did Nick at least have a good time?
He said he didn't hate it, which I guess.
And I did see somebody. Go, hey, I forgot who it was, Nicholas or one of those guys. Like, hey, I got some girls, and he's like, no, I'm good. I don't want the girls.
He said, I don't like girls. He's definitely not gay.
No.
He said he didn't hate it. I did. I did hate it because clubs suck.
Yeah,
but it was Nick's first club night. I'm in Miami. I was like, oh, fuck it.
That club sucks.
Okay, yeah.
Wasn't the club I took you to the dopest thing?
Well, that's true.
Shout out to 11.
That's true.
Shout out to Liv.
Oh,
and you know what? I guess, I mean, if I were the kind of person to throw people under the bus, if I was that guy, then it would be for me to sit here and say people who understand the Miami scene better must understand the kind of reaction that would get. I don't live here. I could take you guys to clubs in Romania, and there's songs we could play that would get us stabbed outside. Yeah. You wouldn't even understand the fucking words.
Vinny and I just go to the
38 minutes in, they're still talking about this song that was played. Oh my God. It's just like, all right, can we move on to the next topic? Can you just end the conversation?
But so I'm in Romania. It's my territory. If I put on a song that's going to get you guys literally in trouble and put you on the news, then I guess that's on me. Yeah. I obviously speak English. I know what the song says. I know what the song means, of course. But I guess people who live here understand how sensitive the Miami scene is more than I do. I don't live here. I'm just here. It's my second day in Miami. It's a first club night with Nick, who's one of the most influential and most well-known people on the planet. Whether anyone
There we go, another Andrew lie. So really, you went somewhere with Nico, Myron, and Nick, and you didn't think people would be screaming at the top of their lungs, whether they played the song or not, that you're an anti-Semite. Sure, you didn't know that, Andrew. I mean, you're Mr. Politics now. You didn't know that.
likes it or not.
When you sit down with those guys to have a conversation, it's up to you to decide if you want to deal with the heat from that. It's like, oh, Nick, if you wanted to speak to me, I'm going to speak to him. I don't care what the outside world says. And I'd be like, listen, you don't like it, F you. I'm allowed to have a conversation with whoever I want. You don't like it, F off. That's it. It's as simple as that. But Andrew wants you to believe that he didn't know if he went out with those guys that he wouldn't face those narratives. And now, especially with that song being played, whether the song was being played or not, they would have started saying that, he's an anti-Semite just from being around those three.
And I went. So perhaps that was a bad decision. Perhaps it was a bad decision. I'm going to sit here and say, obviously, it was not the best decision in the world. But here it is. It's done. If anybody in the Jewish community genuinely believes I want to run around and put them in a fucking concentration camp and not understand that I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time while someone played a stupid song, then unfortunately, I mean, I'm happy to sit down and talk to anybody.
By the way, and I'm not the person to speak for the Jewish community, 100% I'm agreeing with Tate on this. So for any Jew that's like, oh, no, he's not. Look at us. What I want to ask Pat, what he would do, because I totally respect the whole Myron thing.
Oh, you just have so much power, Adam. Everybody just better fall into line when you speak.
I text Myron. I go, dude, you're going viral. He goes, this is at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
What I do, bro, I just woke up. I didn't respond. Good luck. I don't communicate with Sneeko. I dap him up if I see him at an Aiden Ross event or whatever. Nick Fuentes.
Well, Sneeko will be insulting me again by next week. That's what Sneeko does. He was back and forth.
But that's my question to Pat. And he'll probably validate and agree with me why you wouldn't want to throw a genuine friend under the bus. But Sneeko's not your friend, bro.
No, he's not my friend.
What would you do if in this situation where you have someone, because in my opinion, those are the two biggest culprits, Sneeko and Myron. This and playing the song.
40 minutes in, still talking about this, still clutching his pearls at him. The biggest culprits in this. Like they just committed a mass genocide. I mean, Adam, are you mad at Benjamin Netanyahu? Like, look, think about this, right? They're mad about Miami's going crazy about a song. The mayor of Miami, Sosnick, the Jewish community, they're going berserk about a song. And again, I say this all the time. I'm not being a hypocrite. I don't care if Benjamin Netanyahu nukes those Palestinians. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. However they want to handle their business, go ahead. But they're going insane about a song as a genocide is going on in Palestine. In Gaza, excuse me. And man, talk about having your priorities messed up, huh?
Everyone else is just around. What would you do with Myron if you're him? What would you do with Sneeko, who's clearly not his friend?
I think he knows. I've already shared, but here's the thing with Tate. Tate is a 39-year-old grown man with a lot of life experiences. And the codes, certain codes I have with men and women that I talk about, hey, if this is your girl, here's what you do, here's how we do things when we're going out to family, respect. If his sister, let's just say, he says, hey, Pat, my sister's going to come hang out. I'm treating his sister like my sister. Nobody touches her. I'm protecting her.
Yep.
Nobody can do it. There's certain things that I follow. No, I think, look, Adam, you're 46 years old. And you're
45.
Okay, whatever.
Let's not do this. Okay. I'll round down to 44.
All right. So let's just say you're in your mid 40s, right?
Fair.
Okay. All right. You're in mid 40s, 46. Let's just say you're in your mid 40s. Okay.
But next thing you know, it'll be 65.
Yeah, you will 20 years real quick. But
then he just turned 60.
But even I tell you, I'm like, look, think about, who are the men you respect the most?
Mm-hmm.
That's how this question goes.
Yeah.
Make a list of which men you respect the most. Okay, who's on that list? Let's just say you say Trump. Okay, great. Let's say you say, Dana, or maybe you say, I don't know what names you say. Everybody says different names that they say, right? Okay, great. What is the pattern? What is their life? I know you just talked, but you haven't drank for 4 years.
Correct.
No alcohol for 4 years.
I wasn't drunk that night. Didn't have a drop.
Yeah, that's amazing to see you haven't drank for 4 years.
I just smoke 100 cigars a day and 5 packs of cigarettes, but God wanted me to gas during my boxing match. That's why I got punched in the face 20 times.
Even the night we went out, you had 0 drinks.
Don't drink.
I remember.
Oh, wow.
But I think the part is modeling.
Can you stop trying to pimp underage girls? But hey, I mean, it's just an allegation.
Who do you want to model? What's the next phase of life? And you make the choice and you move on. I've never met, Nicholas guy. I've never met him. Good-looking guy, well-spoken, intensity. I don't know his background. I don't know what happened with his family. I don't know why he is the way he is. But it pays today to be loud. There's an economy for being loud. But I want to get away from
this. Can I
this.
answer your one question?
Oh, here we go.
Who I respect? There's only one name, and that's you. Because you know the conversations that we've had behind closed doors. I'm tearing up here. If I never met you, what would I be doing now? I'd still be out in the club with Adrian. You know this conversation, right? How much did you change this guy's life?
How much does he get paid, Adam? Because he's just so cringe. His voice is terrible. His takes are terrible. There's got to be something else going on here. Or paychecks from Israel. I don't know what it is. I don't know how he has a job. He's just beyond cringe.
We just joked the first time that he came out in Miami. This kid was a maniac.
Now I'm 3 years old.
Maniac.
Amazing.
Yep.
I told him I can't ever bring him out in the club again in Miami. He tried to fight my best friend.
Amazing. And that's beautiful. And that's Pat's legacy.
Yeah.
But hear me out. We're so grateful that we're here.
Of course.
There's a person on my list. This conversation, we had in the car on the way to Dylan's.
Like, why is he crying? Are you realizing how stupid you are and how much of your voice sucks and you're trying to save your job by whatever you're doing right now?
Baseball game. What's the word in
He's crying right now.
in the book to cut off?
Decide is to cut off.
Decide.
And
You know, I made a decision recently. You know this.
You know what I think it is with Adam? He's getting bad vibes from Patrick Bet-David because Patrick Bet-David is sick of his takes and sick of trying to manipulate for Israel, and he's picking up on PBD's vibe. So now Adam's going to pretend like he's going to be a family man and have kids. It's just another con. It's just another manipulation tactic. This whole emotional garbage right here, because he's probably worried that Patrick Bet-David is probably getting ready to fire him. So now he's pulling this whole spiel.
Yeah.
So, you know how easy it is for me to be a 50-year-old guy in the club in Miami at 60? I could do that like that. Free drinks, bottles, 11, this.
Oh,
but I don't want to be that guy. I want to have kids, and I know how you feel about kids.
Yep.
And I know how Tristan feels about kids.
Yep.
We probably spent 2 hours talking about kids.
Yep.
Justin Waller, you know this.
Yep.
So I look at him and I say, damn.
Yeah.
He's going full Chrissy from Sopranos. Children are the future, as he shoots some heroin.
What do I want to do? I'm 45, Pat. But I'm going to be 65. Do I want to have kids or not? Do I want to have family or not?
Yeah.
So to me, this comes down to one thing. Dude, whether you like it or not, homie.
Yeah, it comes down to one thing. Two things. Stop saying homie and shut the fuck up already.
You're a leader and a boss for a generation of kids.
Andrew Tate's a leader and a boss. If your kid is looking up to Andrew Tate, you are a failure as a dad. That's all I can say.
Kids.
I understand.
This kid, Clav, not that I want to give him
Braden.
whatever. He's a 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
He's mogging whatever this is.
Smashing his face,
Here's a
taking
kid who's
steroids,
20
doing
years
drugs
old.
at 20.
But if a 20-year-old girl did this, Kylie Jenner.
I'm kind of lost here. So he went through this whole emotional thing where he's crying and he's wiping tears and he's with the conversations we had off record, Patrick. And Patrick's like, and now he's talking about Clav and mogging. He's like a woman that fake. He's pulling a Erica Kirk right now with the fake tears.
Lip injections, titties, We know what's going on with women. Because I'm so grateful because of you. Because of you, I know this kid. I say, dudes are doing this. Dudes are getting fake titties now, basically.
No.
Cutting their face, flogging, mogging.
Look at everybody's face in the room. Look at Vinny. Look at Pat. Look at Andrew Tate. They're just like, holy shit, 50 minutes of this garbage. This is why the PBD show is unwatchable. When you look through the comments section, everybody, Patrick Bet-David's show would be so much better without Adam. Adam is costing PBD 50,000 viewers a day. Everybody destroys Adam all day long. I wonder why. And Adam will be like, well, there needs to be a heel. I'm a heel of the show, so we're not an echo chamber. No, that's not what the problem is. Everybody just knows that you're not honest, you're manipulative, however you say the word. You don't have an honest bone in your body, and you just continuously lie, and everybody's onto you.
10 minutes late today is because I was mogging. I wanted to look good for you on camera. One of the alpha, the top G.
I see the bruise.
I see the bruise.
You know what I think the angle is with the kids for Adam is now? Because if he starts pumping out kids, it'll make it harder for Patrick Bet-David to fire him because he'll keep going to Patrick. I got kids now. You can't fire me. He'll use his own children as a weapon so he can't get fired.
I see it. I feel it.
But the point is, thank God that I have him in my ear.
Oh, here we go.
And not Moggy McGee out here.
Yeah,
and that's
listen,
guys.
if
there's one thing I could say, is I have so much respect for you, and I think so many
One thing you could say, you've been talking 50 minutes of nothing.
people do.
Yep.
That you should be in that room with a Trump and a Dana White.
Oh, God.
Instead, you're in a club with Moggy McGee, Nick Fuentes, and Sneeko in a shitty club.
Yeah, now Andrew should be in the biggest rooms. He should sit down with the president of the United States. Right. Okay.
In Miami.
Yeah, like I said, if he's going to sign up to be the next Epstein,
I totally understand. And
he's got plenty of experience.
I'm not here to make excuses for my actions. I was here in Miami. I wanted to meet Nick. Nick was with Clav. They asked if Sneeko could come. I said, Sneeko insults me all the time. Sneeko came here. Even though all he does is insult me, I'm still not going to throw him under the bus. Myron's an amazing friend of mine. I didn't want to go to the club. I said, I don't want to go. I said, this is bullshit. They said it's Nick's first ever time. And I truthfully believed I could get in and out of this dump in 15 minutes without an international incident.
You can't.
And I would, of course not.
You know this
I've
now.
learned. I've learned.
But how did you not know that already?
I've
Sorry
finished.
about that.
I've learned. So I've learned my lesson. You know, I'm not a perfect person. Hindsight is 20/20. I should not have gone to the club. I should have stuck to what I was saying for the first 10 minutes. I don't want to go. But when perhaps even maybe, and I'm sure he's going to say no chance, perhaps even maybe, if they were to say this is Nick Fuentes' first ever time in a nightclub ever in his life, perhaps other people who don't normally go to clubs would have thought, you know what, for 5 minutes, let me go. Perhaps.
I just have one last question on this topic.
Sure.
Holy shit.
Did Nick at least lose his virginity that night?
I have no idea. But Nick and Myron and Sneeko and Clav, they can all come here and defend themselves. And even though Sneeko's insulted me a trillion times, and even though he put the song on, I just don't think it's prudent for me to sit up here and throw him under the bus. Even though, you know, maybe I should. Maybe most people in my position would say, Sneeko's insulted me a whole bunch of times. He's going to insult me again next week. That's all he ever does is flip-flop. I didn't even want him there. He got invited by the other guys. He put the song on. He got me in trouble. Perhaps I should sit here and just blame some other dude. But what I'm actually just going to do is tell my side of the story.
But in a way, you are now. So you're putting it out there so everybody knows that it's Sneeko. See, if you were the man that you claim to be, you wouldn't even be talking. You'd just be like, well, I mean, I shouldn't have been there. That's it. So you just dry snitched, Andrew. But hey, you know, it's typical Tate.
My side of the story is that I wanted to speak to Nick.
He's notorious for that. He'll say things. He'll make videos. I didn't say that. He'll show him the video. I was taken out of context.
Show me your friends. I'll show you your future. You deserve better.
Let's move on. Is there long-term plans, Tate, of wanting to live in Miami, wanting to live in Florida?
So here's the story of Miami. Last time I came here, I don't know if you remember, I caught a criminal case for absolutely no reason whatsoever. I thought this was America. But
it wasn't for no reason whatsoever. It's because some of the victims lived in Florida. There was like 2 or 3 girls that he tried his lover boy technique. There's definitely one. I think there's 2. There are possibly 3. So Ron DeSantis and the detectives, you know, they probably were investigating the girls, but that's not. There's no reason that would happen. They put a case on me for no reason.
It turns out, you know, communism was alive here in Florida just the same. Show me the man and I'll find the crime. And DeSantis and his little girlfriend, the AG, I have no idea if he's even still in power, decided to investigate me for absolutely no reason whatsoever. I expected a hero's welcome. And I have yet to give the one and a
He wanted a hero's welcome. Like, he really thinks like he's like Tom Cruise or something. He really thinks he's like some, you know, star to America. The human trafficker, alleged human trafficker, pimp, and pedo, right? That brags. He's bragged online about sleeping with underage girls, but hey, it's all taken out of context, right, Andrew? He wanted a hero's welcome when he came back to America.
Half-hour story of what actually happened to me. Nobody actually understands what has happened to me yet. And it takes an hour and a half for me to explain from start to finish. But let me make it very, very quick for everybody at home so they understand. I was deemed a national security threat by the British state. I was the most Googled man on the planet. And they said I had so much control over the young men inside of the UK. They said I was an unchecked source of influence. And there was an intelligence operation specifically designed to dampen my influence. I have the paperwork. I have the...
He has the if you have the paperwork, why didn't you bring it? How come nobody on the show said, you know, he knows he's going on a Patrick Bet-David show, and you have the paperwork, and nobody says, okay, well, show me the paperwork so I can show the audience. You know why? Because he's full of shit. Just like every other thing that comes out of his mouth is full of shit.
Chronology. I have all of the proof that I was set up by a sovereign state. The Brits hit me with all of this crap from start to finish. So when I finally escaped detention without conviction, after 4 years of being locked in jail and in my house, and return home to America, the country my father served for, the country I was born in, I expected a hero's welcome. And what did I walk into? I walked into a crock of shit from DeSantis and his little fucking girlfriend, saying that I'm not welcome even though I'm a citizen, and that I'm a bad person even though I'm not convicted, and that I'm going to be investigated. And I'm quite glad they investigated me, because let me tell you something. You're not going to meet another person on the street who's been investigated more than me. I've been through more investigations by more different agencies than anybody else you're probably ever going to meet. And
well, maybe you shouldn't go online incriminating yourself. I mean, you did incriminate. How do most criminals go to jail? They open their big mouths. And I can show you multiple videos of Andrew Tate incriminating himself. And the reason why it makes it difficult to prove is because most of the victims live in a different country, a different jurisdiction. And then it's like, it's not as simple as you think convicting him, because it's not like he lives in America and then all the victims live in America. So he even said, I moved to Romania because I would less likely be tried and convicted or prosecuted for sexual assault or pimping and all the other shit that he does.
And here I am free talking to you. So they dampened and destroyed and completely ruined my first experience in Florida. Those clowns did, for no reason, to an American citizen who should have got a hero's welcome after being detained.
Oh, they did it for no reason. So one of the girls that you try to pull your lover boy technique on, she wasn't from Florida. Oh, Andrew? Right, I know.
In the most corrupt country in Europe. I hate to get angry about this, but it destroyed 4 years of my life. Let me ask, since when does anybody, with all due respect, give a fuck about what the Romanians say? The Romanians said, it's corrupt. Who cares what the Romanians said? If you were to tell me the Romanians said that he did...
He said, who gives a what you say all the time, Romania is the greatest place. I love the Romanian people. I love it here. I want my family to be raised here, blah, blah, blah. Now it's, who gives a fuck what the Romanians say? I mean, make up your mind, Andrew. People are watching.
This was like the Romanians said. Who gives a shit what they say?
Is that where Dracula's from?
We have problems with corruption in the American system. We're talking about the poorest country in Europe. It's absolutely insane what happened to me. And when I finally give you the 1.5 hour rendition with the paperwork, with the proof that I was set up by the British state specifically to damage my influence over young men, that they knew I was innocent. That's the reason Romanians have let me go. Where's my trial?
Where's the paperwork, Andrew? How come this paperwork that you allegedly have, nobody's ever seen it before? You don't show the paperwork, Andrew? Patrick Bet-David, you're so intelligent. Okay, well, let's see the paperwork. Right, this big matrix attack. Well, I have the paperwork to prove it. Okay, well, let's see it. Show us. Right, Andrew.
To be fucking charged with anything. My life was completely wrecked. All because I became the most Googled man in the world and wasn't saying the things they want me to say. Completely wrecked. I land here, DeSantis and his fucking girlfriend ruin it. And I leave, and I go to a country where I'm finally treated with respect. I went to Dubai. Every single person in the UAE, at every single level of power, says the same thing to me. It's completely unfair what happened to you, and I cannot believe what the people in Florida did to you when you got free. Everybody says it. At the top, all the way to the bottom. Florida completely destroyed its entire reputation with this garbage.
Nobody, okay, everybody says it. Well, name one person that said it. Name the top people that said that. Name them. Let's hear it. Say their names. Of course, Patrick Bet-David won't ask because he already knows he's full of shit.
They did. And internationally, it is spoken about. I just went to a meeting in the Bahamas. I had to do some banking and move some money around. And I said,
oh, the big billionaire, I had to do some banking and move some money around. Oh, you know.
There with Tristan and said, It would be nice to go see Justin in Miami. It'd be nice to go see the guys in Miami. It'd be nice to do PBD. And he said, if we go there, DeSantis and his girlfriend are going to arrest us. And I said, for what? We haven't done anything. He goes, it doesn't matter. It's a matrix attack. And we sat there and thought, you know what? Fuck them. And we came. I landed here expecting to be arrested. Isn't that crazy? As an American citizen who's never done anything wrong, never been convicted of any crime in his life anywhere, never even lived in Florida. I've been here 3 times in my life.
You know how many videos he's made of mocking Americans in America? And, he's this big Brit and European. Now he's Romanian. He used to make video after video destroying America, why he would never live here anymore before he even got in trouble. But hey.
Life that I'm afraid to come back to a city because I'm looking at bullshit made up charges from people trying to score political points on fucking Twitter. I thought this country was free.
No, Byron actually caught you lying. You made up some lie about he didn't want me to influence something with his campaign or one of somebody's campaign, and he said he's lying through his teeth, and he proved that you were lying. But hey, I can't remember the whole story, but it was something like that.
So I flew here. And it turns out they didn't arrest me. Do you know why? Because they ain't got shit. Because I haven't fucking done anything. And I am truly, from the bottom, if you want to talk about this nightclub incident, I am truly tired of the amount of heat that is constantly on my head and the amount of pressure that's constantly on my back. Sure, I'm a man. Sure, I can deal with it, of course. I don't like the fact that I can't take a piss without an international incident. I don't like this. I don't like that I finally get back to Miami. I make the brave choice to come here looking at a possible arrest. And then I think, okay, I'm doing a stream with guys I've never met before. It turns out to be the biggest stream on the internet at the time with hundreds of thousands of viewers. It's Nick's first time in a club. Let me go. It's his first time. Don't be the boring old man, Andrew. It's only 10 minutes. Go. And all this bullshit happens. I don't like all this constant and endless bullshit. So, of course, I'm sitting there in hindsight going, oh, for fuck's sake, wish that didn't happen, wish that didn't happen. But I also didn't see when I left Romania and landed here, I'd be wrecked by those clowns. So to answer the question, do I want to live in America? Yes, I'm an American. But the power structures here are so decentralized. I'm in Kamala Harris's book.
Don't you love these big words that he always uses? He's just so smart. He should be in the room with Trump and running our secretary, being the Secretary of Defense. No, the only job he's qualified for is to be the next Epstein.
Read it. 107 days, page 176. I lost the election because people changed the young men's vote. The young men went so right-wing because of people like Andrew Tate. Kamala says, I'm one of the reasons Trump won. I know the Trump team like me. I know the Trump family like me. But I land here in some state.
And Kamala would make that excuse. So now all of a sudden what Kamala Harris says she doesn't make any sense, the drunk alcoholic, and she would blame Tate. You know why Kamala Harris lost? Because she had no message. She had no plan. She was a fraud, a fake. Even her laugh was fake. And people didn't trust her with the economy. They trusted Trump with the economy. So she would blame Andrew Tate, if it's even true. And he really believes that. He really believes what she's saying is accurate. It's hilarious. Even Andrew will say himself, don't listen to a word Kamala Harris says. She's a complete idiot. Oh, she wrote me in her book. Oh, now that's true. That part's true.
Clowns are going to wreck my life. The power here is so decentralized. I don't feel safe here. I don't get how anything works. Trump is supposed to be the boss. He can't even pass a law without some dickhead judge ruining. I don't understand what's going on in America anymore. So I feel safe in the UAE because I know who the boss is.
Didn't the Trump administration have a couple people that came to your defense? And to help nothing happen to you? Because I think there was something going on there as well.
You mean to my defense with the Romania case?
No, with the Florida case.
I have no idea. I don't know. What I do know is that I'm at this stage in my life now where the threats are empty. Investigate me. Shoot me. Arrest me. Put me in jail. Like, if you think you can build a case, go. You look at all the crap.
It's not that. He knows that the lover boy method is hard to prove. Because he love bombs them at first, and then the girls come willingly, and then he does the bait and switch tactic, and then it's very hard to prove. So it's whatever.
The AG said of Florida. You look at how he ran his mouth on the news, all the stupid tweets he made. How you telling me he didn't try his absolute best to get me? Of course he did. He wrote to the Brits. He wrote to the Romanians. He was asking for information from everybody. He was trying his absolute best to get me, and he can't even fucking arrest me for questioning. Clown show. So do I want to live in America and Miami? Yes, but I don't want to live in a clown show. I don't want to live in this mess where power is so decentralized. And unfortunately for me, I score so many political points, either right or left, that my life is just thrown into the limbo like, well, this is good for my career.
Nobody voted for President Trump because of Andrew Tate. Nobody with a brain in their head, anyway.
Wreck him.
You know what?
This is crazy.
Tate, somebody could say, if you go to Dubai, do you play by Dubai's rules?
Okay, but what are the rules of America, sir? Because I thought we had free speech. Clearly, we don't.
I get that, but I'm talking about the rules of Dubai. When you go to Dubai, do you play by Dubai's
100%.
rules?
So what are the rules of America?
Well, let me kind of go to where I'm going with this.
Light your cigar.
This whole thing of what you can and can't say opinion-wise that DeSantis and his camp in Florida is trying to pass, I'm not part of that community. People need to be able to debate out anything. Whatever you want, you got to be able to debate it out. But also, if you're wanting to come to Florida, right, and you know, like certain, culture is going to be in a certain way, you either say, I want to come here. You can't say, you guys better change or else I'm not coming. No. It's no, this is Florida.
I'm not telling anyone to change. I'm answering the question of, do I have a plan to live in Miami? And what I'm saying is, I was so disappointed by what DeSantis and his girlfriend did to me when I landed here that I've learned that, truthfully, the American system doesn't support free speech, and it doesn't support the idea you're innocent until you're convicted. It doesn't support any of the things it pretends to support. The system here is complete clown show. It's a joke. Well, after what they did to me, truthfully, no, I don't see myself ever.
But it didn't work, though.
Of course it didn't work. But why should I come here and buy a $20 million property knowing there's an AG sitting there trying to put me in jail so he can get Twitter followers? That's bullshit.
AG's been trying to put Trump in jail for a while.
Exactly. It's a joke. This whole thing is stupid. I truthfully, from the bottom of my heart, am heartbroken for the state of America. I think this is crazy. We have the best president we could ever possibly hope for. And still, we have this kind of garbage and decentralized attacks and random judges. A random AG in Alabama can type up some crap and ruin my life right now. I don't feel safe in this country. I don't feel safe here. And I don't feel safe here, not because I've done anything wrong, not because I'm convicted of crimes. I don't feel safe here because I'm a scalp. I'm a scalp, and everyone wants my head on the wall. And I like to go to places and live in places and invest my money in places where very important, powerful people who understand the world say, yes, you're too big to exist in a system that is so decentralized. There's going to be too many people inside of that system who want your head. And on a long enough time frame, especially with a 4-year cycle where everything can change, they're going to get your head. You need to live somewhere with stability, sir. And I'm going to say thank you very much. Let me plan for the next 20 years with me and my children, and let me build some towers. America's a joke now. America's falling apart. And I'm not saying that happily. I'm an American. What I'm saying is there's a very strong chance in the next 3 years that psychopaths get back in the house. You think me with a $25 million mansion in Miami, I'm going to survive the Dems coming back? I don't stand a hope. Not because I've done anything wrong. Everyone's out to get me. Everyone's out to get me. So what am I supposed to do? Right? As well as, we can also add into the fact that if I want to be pessimistic and argue that the Western Hemisphere is collapsing in real time, America's certainly not as bad as Europe. And I will actually argue that the Venezuela operation was fantastic for American soft power. I actually think that put America back on the map. I think the Venezuelan operation saved America for at least 5 more years. But in general, as the quality of life in Western countries decline.
The Venezuelan situation saved America for 5 more years? Really? Well, the country of Mexico is the one that imports pretty much all the drugs. I don't know how Venezuela is this big threat of all places, but hey, whatever.
And we can all argue that it probably
Were you paid to say that?
Is. I'll ask you. 2016 to 2025.
Who knows? Maybe those big Jewish donors that, control the media in Miami with the club, maybe they told Andrew to say that we'll make this all go away. Support the Venezuela situation. That could be an angle.
The amount of money.
We all know why America's in Venezuela.
That has been printed by the American government. The amount the GDP of this country has increased in the last 10 years, if you were to actually look at the number on a piece of paper, it's hard to even fathom. It's incalculable amounts of money. It's trillions of dollars. Does America feel richer to you? Does it look richer to you? We've printed trillions of dollars in 10 years, and the country looks worse than ever. I come here for the first time in ever. The infrastructure is crap. The traffic's out of control. It's a mess. I live in the UAE where they have no taxes and everything works perfectly. Here I'm giving half my money away. So we're getting richer on paper. The whole place is falling apart. The Western world in real time is falling apart. I think the whole world is falling apart. If I put my hands together and do this, I can feel the fire of the world burning. And my theory is that as we have a collapse and an implosion of the way of life we've always known, as laws stop functioning, because we're at the limit of law in America. We're at the absolute upper limit of what law can fix and tolerate. Look at Minnesota. Law isn't working. Police aren't working. The system isn't working. People are getting arrested for things and no one's going to jail, or they're making bail, or they're going to jail and getting out 25 times, murdering people. The cracks that already exist in a society are going to become much larger than cracks. They're going to become rivers, fissures. An American society is already on the edge between races, Republican and Democrats, between men and women. Everyone here hates each other. And as things implode, I don't see a civil war in other places in the world because the cracks are not as large. This place is teetering on the edge of violence all of the time. It's crazy. So to answer your question, sorry to be so impassioned, I love Miami. I'm an American. I love you guys. My best friends live here. I, besides the nightclub, have a nice time here. It's a great place. I would love to buy a big fat house and a boat and enjoy myself here. I don't feel safe in this country anymore. People want to kill me for my watch. The government want me in jail, or some of them do for their careers. Women want to lie about me for fucking payday. What am I supposed to do here?
Oh, stop. Oh, yeah. Every single woman on the planet is just lying about Tate, right, Tate?
What life am I supposed to have? Walk around with 20 bodyguards and guns? It is a shame that America's become such a mess that I can't live here. What I can do is visit for a week or two and hope to get out without an indictment. And it's crazy. And that's a failure of America. That's not a failure of me. I'm not doing anything. I don't drink. I don't take drugs. I don't take steroids. I sit on my laptop. And I made the biggest mistake in the world, which is go to a nightclub for the first time in years for 15 minutes. I can't fucking piss without catching a case. So no, I can't live here.
Oh, God.
May I please?
Of course.
He caught his cases for no reason. No. I mean, incriminating himself online over thousands of times, that didn't really count.
I'm going to break this down. You're such a good speaker that I have to process what you're saying.
He's such a good speaker. It's like, Adam, shut the fuck up. Seriously.
Agree, and then filter out the bullshit. If you don't mind.
I guess you're going to filter out every word out of his mouth.
Absolutely.
You're so good, and I've sat with you for hours.
Thanks.
I'm like, Tate, yes, no, yes.
Let's hear the bullshit. Let's hear the bullshit.
Has the world come against you? Has the world gone crazy? Have you been debanked, deplatformed, come against you? I don't believe you're guilty of anything.
Of course.
Other than being a loudmouth, biracial, somewhat racist. And that's why I love you.
Somewhat, yeah.
But America, and let me be super clear, is still the greatest country.
Adam, make it clear. He's allowed to be racist towards everybody, whites, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, but he can't say anything negative about Israel. Be very clear who you accept him being racist towards.
In the world, and it is always going to be the greatest country in the world. And we still have problems like crazy. You want to go back to the UK?
Of course not.
Hell no.
Of course not.
Hell no. Look at your boy Tommy Robinson.
England's done.
So what did your boy Winston Churchill say? Your boy. Democracy is the greatest form of government except for all the other governments that have been tried. So I'll ask you this.
Understand.
You want to go back to the UK and then live under a sham democracy, communism?
Of course not.
You want to go live under Sharia law in Iran?
I understand.
Come on, Adam.
Listen,
So
enough
yes,
already.
I understand America has problems.
Yep.
But you're coming into the wrong room to play the America's bad victim card.
Here we go. He's Mr. Pro America. Now he's a Trumper. For years he hated Trump. He bashed Trump, right? And he thinks that we can't figure out that he's Israel. Everything he does is to lie and chill for Israel. But now he's trying to catch the new wave. The new wave is America First. The new wave is Nick Fuentes and the America First movement. So Adam's trying to reinvent himself and jump on that wave.
I'm not playing the America's bad. What I'm trying to do, America's not bad. And I'm an American. What I'm trying to explain is for my own personal scenario, my own personal situation, I'm trying to optimize for stability. Now, it is true. America, one of the best things about it is if the government turns against you, as DeSantis and his girlfriend did, you do stand a chance of beating it. I'm very aware that if the government of the UAE turn against me, I'm not going to win in court. I'm not stupid. I understand that. But also, we have to sit now and have a discussion as rational adults in a collapsing world as to why CZ from Binance, Pavel from Telegram, Ray Dalio just did it, why most of the world's wealth is going to the most stable country in the world, the UAE. And it is because there's none of this decentralization of power. There's a lot of other very powerful people who say the same thing as me. You can't trust America. Some AG in Alabama is going to wreck your life. You can't be there. You have to be here. It's stable. And I'm not the only person who's saying that. I'm sitting with other billionaires, American billionaires saying that.
Tate sits with billionaires, right? I love this. He's a billionaire now, right? That's why he just jumped in the ring to fight. Because, 40-year-old billionaires always like to box 20-year-olds, right? Yeah, I know.
I would love to live in America, guys. I'd love to be with you guys every single day. I would. And I'm not here trying to clown America or insult America, but America has really big problems. And for me personally, it's hard to feel safe here.
Let me just say one quick response. Dude, if I'm you, I think the exact same way. Everyone I talk to that goes to UAE says it's amazing, it's incredible. We have one guy in BDC.
Thanks.
They call him
You're a man.
like sexual chocolate Dubai. Like he loves it there. Yeah. So go ahead, you gotta fix that?
No, I'm good.
What you're saying is true, and the rest of the world should wake up. And that's in the most chaotic region of the world.
Yep.
There's a little country called Dubai or called UAE that's actually doing it right.
Yep.
So this is why when people take the Islamic extremism, I go, well, it's not everywhere. They actually have a peace agreement with Israel.
Yep.
The two probably most stable countries
That's true.
in the Middle East.
That's true.
Whether you like Israel or not.
There's Jews all in them.
Yeah, why are they stable, Adam? Because we subsidize them, Adam. Free healthcare, it's paid for by the American taxpayer. When they have a beef, they use the American military. That's why it's stable, Adam. Not because they did it on their own. Oh, let me guess. I don't like Jewish people now, right?
Dubai.
There's Israel and Dubai because it's GDP, not GDT. Gross domestic product, not gross domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
So you're bringing a valid point about Dubai, and I need to go there. So hopefully we can go. Here's my question. Could you say what you're saying, criticizing UAE, if you felt this way?
Absolutely not.
That's why America's number one.
If I felt that way. So here's the important thing to understand. I am not delusional as to the idea that UAE is not a free country.
Andrew claims he's not delusional. Right, interesting.
Of course not. But luckily for me, all of their views align with my views. So the things I'm not allowed to say are things I don't want to say. So luckily, I don't feel the constriction. But you're completely right in regards to, I can't criticize the government in the UAE, not from the UAE. That is true. And I'm not saying it's a perfect country, and I'm not saying they do absolutely everything right either. What I'm saying is I'm trying to optimize my life personally, just so everyone here understands me, so that I can raise my children and stay out of jail. And the chance of me going to jail here is 1,000 times higher than there because of the decentralization of power and the fact that I'm a scalp. That's the bottom line of it. And that's why it's very difficult for me to invest money in America. As American as I feel, as American as I want to be, I would love to live in Miami, guys. I'm just answering the question and explaining why I don't feel safe to do it and why many other very prominently rich, well-known people don't feel safe to do it. I sit with CZ, Pavel, I sit with billionaires who all say the same thing. America's a war zone. You're not safe there. In a few years, the Dems might win. You can't invest there. And people are saying you can't trust America across the next 20 years. And if you're going to make a 20-year investment, you're looking for stability. So I love America.
I am so optimistic about the future with America. I can't even describe it to you. Having said
Please,
that,
I'd love correct me and I'll buy a house today.
No, well,
Let's go. I want to live here
I got a
anyway.
good realtor for
but
you.
I will tell
He's
you.
a Jewish guy, man.
No, but I will tell you. I will tell you also who I may not recommend to want to live in America. And I may say, this isn't a place for you. For example, I don't belong in LA. And I get it. I don't belong in LA. I'm talking to a bishop the other day from the Syrian community. We're having a conversation about potentially putting in a Syrian leadership event together and hosted by us at the hangar here. And I said, how often you come to LA? Once a year. Why is that? I don't agree with the lifestyle of LA.
Yep.
How they raise their kids, how they, and not the people that are living there. I'm talking the standards by Newsom, the government, all of that, taxes, small business owners, regulation, 1099, W-2. I can list 50 reasons why I can't live in the state of California, period. And they just did their gerrymandering that now it's going to be the Congress in California is 52 congressmen and women they have. Do you know after this recent gerrymandering, it's going to be 48 Democrats, 4 Republicans.
Wow.
You know what that compares to? That compares to Venezuela.
Wow.
That compares to Brazil
Yep.
on what the House looks like. So California is becoming a Brazil or a Venezuela. And guess what? The billionaires are leaving. Now, here's the thing. You take all the billionaires in the world, right? There's about, 3,000 billionaires in the world. Of the 3,000 billionaires in the world, 1,300 of them are in America.
Correct.
There's a reason for it. Now, Sergey Brin.
The reason for it, Patrick, and I hate to interrupt, is because here they can buy enough political clout to not go to jail. And I'm not a billionaire like that. It's because they're so entrenched with government that they're above the law. That's why they're here.
Yeah.
And in the UAE, they can't do that.
I don't know about that. I don't know about everybody. I don't know if that's the case with everybody. Like Sergey Brin, they ran Google. Okay. Bezos runs Amazon. Musk runs, a bunch of companies.
Yeah, they can't put these people in jail because they're the economy.
But also they are the.
Why would they need to go to jail, Andrew? They don't do stuff like you, Andrew. They're not, they're not into pimping girls out on webcam and keeping all the money and telling them that they have to pay taxes and then pocketing the money, Andrew. They don't do stuff like that. Why would the billionaires here be worried about going to prison? They're at work all day. Yeah, that makes sense.
The economy, but they're also not criminals. They're running companies.
I'm not a criminal, but I'm not the economy.
No, I didn't say you're.
He just let the cat out of the bag, Andrew. He's like, Patrick Bet-David's like, they're not criminals. That's what I just said. They're not. Why would they be worried about going to jail? That's what you worry about because you're a criminal.
That. What I'm saying to you is, if you're saying they're avoiding having to go to jail and all this, if you go out there and build a company, build a business, you just have to know Newsom doesn't like you. And California doesn't like you. They want to put a wealth tax. And guess what? New York doesn't like billionaires. So this Mamdani guy is going to say, he's going to wreck you. And guess what? Guess what in America you get a chance to do?
Imagine if you could clean your retainer at the touch of a button. Our team of top product engineers.
You got 50 states to choose from.
That's right.
I lived in Texas. And by the way, I will tell you one thing about Texas. I can easily make an argument for Dallas, Texas, for somebody that's planning on being private equity, business, access to money, access to resources. Goldman Sachs is building an 800,000 square foot facility in Dallas. It's going to be their second headquarters, Texas Stock Exchange. There are so many great arguments for Dallas, Texas. So many of them. There's plenty of arguments here. Miami, who's coming here, the wealth, a lot of the billionaires are moving down here. Markets going up. They have to protect themselves. They have to protect the assets. They have to vote accordingly. That's the things that you have here. At the same time, is there a case for UAE coming up? Are you kidding? Of course there is. Is there a case for Dubai, what they're doing? Of course there is. How many democracies have lasted the longest? They don't. They don't last that long of a time. Right. Monarchies do. You can go look back and see how many monarchies. I think the oldest monarchy, Japan, was 2,600, 2,556. Our good friend Curtis Yarvin forced us to know this kind of stuff. We had a week ago or 2 weeks ago. There is risk to democracy. There's risk to democracy. Risk. So if I was to say for you, you also made a couple choices with your lifestyle. You chose to become, when you went to prison and you said the letter, when you guys were together with you and Tristan, which you guys played one of the greatest pranks ever in jail, which I till today. That is by far
Rush Hour
greatest, one of the greatest things these guys did. That is one of the best ever stories.
The Rush Hour, when they bugged our cell and we were talking about Ricky Tan.
Oh, Ricky Tan.
Yeah, but that was good. That is hilarious when you guys did that. But to me, when you were in prison and you said, none of my Christian guys will write me letters, but my God, I got a lot of letters from Muslims. And then you chose to become a Muslim yourself.
Yes.
And you're still practicing? Would you still consider yourself? Yes. Have you thought about leaving and going back to Christianity?
No. And before we get into religion, because that's a long conversation, everything you just said about Newsom, I agree with. Everything you said about New York, I agree with. If I go to California right now, Newsom would love to find any possible excuse to indict me.
Oh, of course. My God.
That's why you won't do business.
I wouldn't go to California.
Okay, and that's why you won't go California. You won't do business.
No.
Oh, yeah. Patrick Bet-David won't go to California because he's worried about being indicted. Yeah. Gavin Newsom stays up at night thinking how he can indict Andrew Tate. Right. I know, Andrew. See a psychiatrist.
I won't.
All right. If I go New York.
I mean, maybe if you try to human traffic some people into California, you might have a problem.
Mamdani would love to parade me all over the news, 100%. New York Southern District, and say I'm a human trafficker. Of course he would. But guys, the leader of Florida did the same.
Now Mamdani wants to parade Andrew around. I mean, aren't you fellow Muslim brothers? Sure, Andrew. You're just, you know what? You're on the most wanted poster in Mamdani's office. Okay.
Crap to me. I flew to Florida for a reason. I got out of Romanian detention, looked at the map of America and thought, Florida's based, and they proved that they're not. DeSantis proved he's a punk.
And they failed.
And his girlfriend, and they failed. But that doesn't matter. I should not have to live in a hostile environment where I'm constantly and endlessly investigated and followed for no reason. And I don't have any reason to do that. If Florida, you guys chose Florida because it's good to you. It ain't good to me. And that breaks my heart. My father served for this country. I have the passport. It breaks my heart that Florida betrayed me as it has and has only ever betrayed me. What am I supposed to do, sir, but live somewhere else? You wouldn't live in Cali for the same reason. I can't live here.
Yeah, but DeSantis doesn't like the way you live.
When DeSantis stands up, I don't care. I'm an American, and I don't owe him shit. And when DeSantis stands up and apologizes to me, when the AG apologizes to me, I'll consider it. And Byron Donald...
Oh, yeah, Ron DeSantis is going to apologize to you, Andrew. Just shut up. Oh, yeah, when the AG apologizes to me, when Governor DeSantis gets on his knees and begs me for forgiveness. Right.
A punk, too, because he sold out and went on the news and started talking shit, calling me a human trafficker. I've never been convicted. The point of America in general, the point of democracy is innocent until proven guilty. If they get quizzed about me.
Patrick Bet-David was trying to tell you before you interrupted him with your idiocy, like you chose a certain lifestyle and then you incriminated yourself. He's not going to say that. Thousands of times online. Maybe that led to your indictments, Andrew, not the Matrix.
If they stand up on the news and they say, what do you think of Andrew Tate? They have a very easy answer. We live in a democracy. It's innocent until proven guilty. I don't know the specifics of his case. What I know is he is not convicted. They don't have to sell out like punks. They don't have to start saying I'm not welcome here. If the senator or the governor tells me I'm not welcome here, you know what? Then fucking keep it. I'm not a beg. I'm not desperate. And I don't give a shit if Ron DeSantis likes how I live or not. To be honest, I don't care. I'm an American citizen. I came here. I've been convicted of no crimes. And for the same reason you won't live in Cali or Mamdani's New York, I can't live here until these clowns apologize to me.
But you're right.
I'm right. So I'm out of here.
But you're right. But the other part, okay, so do you know right now who in here can choose to sue Adam and say, I really don't like his smug...
I want to end it with that. I had enough of Tate. I mean, listen, he could say whatever he wants. He went to that nightclub this weekend to be with Clavicular, to be with Nick Fuentes, because he knows they're riding the biggest wave right now. The America First wave, whatever Clavicular does. I'm not getting into that. It's whatever. But he knows right now those, Clavicular is a streamer and Nick Fuentes has one of the biggest podcasts and everybody's talking about him. So Andrew Tate, Tristan, Justin Waller, the blowjob, they all wanted to, be seen with those guys so they could try to get views and subscribers and try to, bring up their money count on YouTube and all the other things that they're on. They know exactly why they went to the club. Then Andrew Tate wants you to believe that he didn't know if he went to the club with Myron, Nick Fuentes, and Sneeko of all people. Even if they didn't play that record, he would have been being called an anti-Semite for hanging out with those three. And if he pretends like he didn't know that, it's just another lie scan from the con man, Andrew Tate himself. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasairos.